studio in the 12 o'clock hour.
And clear your schedules. Make sure you don't have anything going on October 1st, because guess what? Hot dog, the vice presidential candidates are going to debate J.D. Vance and Tim Walz.
I cannot
wait.
Watch out. Cannot wait.
Watch out.
And last night, the Cardinals.
Honestly, the vice presidential debate doesn't sound so bad. That's hard to watch.
You get nothing.
Oh, no.
You lose.
No.
Good day, sir.
Oh, no, don't do
Here's
that.
a ball lined, and it is caught by India, and India ends the ball game. The night he had at the plate, he took a hit away from Mason Wynn, leaping, timing that perfectly, and this ball game is over.
Well, here we are. 9-2 final. The Cardinals get swept in Cincinnati. That is a team that is also fighting for a playoff spot. We just go back a couple of weeks, and the Cardinals were a playoff team. They found themselves in the wild card, but now, well, they have fallen out. They are now 4.5 games back of a wild card spot. They are tied with the Reds at the moment. The Giants are also 4.5 out. The Mets are 2 games out. The Braves have that final wild card spot. And the Diamondbacks and Padres, by the way, have separated themselves a little bit. They are both in the 1 and 2 spot. But the point is, for the Cardinals, this isn't good.
Not
this
great.
Look.
You don't want to drop below 500 heading into September.
No, you don't, which is where they are. They are back below 500 for the first time since the middle of June. They are 60-61. And look, they addressed needs they had at the trade deadline. You can argue whether or not they addressed them well enough. So far, I think it's tough to argue that they did, because the results have not been there. And yeah, there are still, 6 weeks left to go in the regular season. There is still time, a month and a half remaining. So a lot of baseball yet to be played. So 39 games. Do I have that right? 30, or is it 41? It's like around 40. I can't do math. So they've played 121 games. They have 41 games to play. There you go. There's your math.
Well,
so it's not a whole lot of time. I mean, it is, but it isn't. You know what I mean? To make up 4.5 games and have a couple of teams in front of you, it's tough.
Yeah, well, you felt like you were on the fringe, right? On the outside. And I know we were 6 games back for a long time, but we kept saying, well, there's time. And if the Cardinals can just turn it around, the Brewers aren't going to keep playing at this rate, and the Cardinals can turn it around. All you need is one good streak. You need to turn it around, start getting a few wins in the bag. You start making up some ground. And I think for a hot minute, I think it was it going into Kansas City, when we went to Kansas City, not this last time, but the time before, like, oh my gosh, if we can win a doubleheader and the Brewers lose, we'll be a game and a half back. I mean, it was almost like you could flirt with being close, but time and time again, the Cardinals have lost, and every game feels like it's very hard to win, and it feels like it's very hard to get out of every inning. That's not a great place to be.
It's been very hard to win lately for them. In their last 10 games, they are 3-7. They have lost now 4 straight games. And if you were looking at you're right. There was a time where we were thinking, well, forget the wild card. There's an opportunity here to make up some ground on Milwaukee. Well, now they're 8.5 out. So I don't know.
They're just, I mean, if you look at it and you're just being objective, they're not playing well.
No, they're not.
It's not good baseball. It's hard to win when you're playing well. It's impossible if you're not.
Well, they're not scoring. They're not pitching particularly well right now. There's not a whole lot that they are doing well. And here's the thing. This is just a little, this is a side thing, and I don't think it makes a massive difference last night. But I do not understand why you would call Jordan Walker back. And I know that he's here because of an injury. I get that. He probably wouldn't be here otherwise. But this is somebody that you consider to be part of your future. And if he's part of your future, play the guy. Let's not platoon somebody like him. And if the argument is, which Ali Marmol made yesterday that, hey, we don't have time to play around with the lineup, and I'm paraphrasing him here, but we don't have time to play around with the lineup. We need to win games right now. Yeah, but the guys you have out there aren't helping you win.
So let me ask you.
So let's not platoon him. Let's not do this lefty-righty matchup thing and not start him against right-handers because he's right-handed,
Right.
which is what's happening, and it just doesn't make any sense.
So when I look at a Jordan Walker and you look at the guys that are playing, right? Because you're always replacing somebody when you come up. It's not like things are going so well. We'd love to give him in the lineup, but this guy or that guy is hitting it out of the park. No one's doing that. So is it possible that while Jordan Walker, even if he is just okay, right? It's not like he's not as good as the guy playing, but is it possible that you don't bring up a young guy in this situation because you could kind of ruin him a little bit? Or does
you can't ruin him by playing him. You can't ruin him by playing him on a bad team.
What if he's not ready? Not ruining him because you're on a bad team, but they're just seeing he's not quite ready for a long stint.
Then he shouldn't be here at all. If that's what
fair.
if that's what they're saying about him, that, oh gosh, we only want to put him in situations good for him. He's not going to learn that way. And I get it. You do want to be careful with your best prospects. And right now he's not delivering. His numbers this season for them are not any good. I get that. But if he's here, he needs to play, especially if you believe he's part of your future. Now, he went 1 for 2 last night. He did get a hit last night. He also stranded a couple. But, I don't think it makes a big difference in the game last night. But if he's here, he's got to play. It's just another thing right now that bothers me about the team. I just simply don't believe, and we talked about this before the season starts, if Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt are not the all-stars that they used to be perennially, this just isn't a very good roster.
So
it's not great.
The next 6 games for the Cardinals, they've got 3 against the Dodgers, right? And then 3 against the Brewers, who are leading the division. The Dodgers are always a tough team to play.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that hope could be killed? Like there could be the final nail in the coffin over the course of the next 6 games if you don't win against the Dodgers and then you lose more ground against the Brewers. Aren't these next 6 games going to be very tough? And
yes,
I don't want to say hope is gone. It's not gone, but I mean, if you don't do well in these next 6 games, you're running out of time.
Yeah, I mean, okay, it doesn't. If they get swept over the next 6, well, it's probably good night then. But if you finish like 2 and 4, still not good. If you're 3 and 3, you'll take it, but you really want to have a winning next 6.
And I don't like the overuse of the phrase must win, because I mean, unless you're in game 7, right? Game 7 is a must win of a 7-game playoff series. This is not a must win, but it's like, wow, you're really going to make your life pretty darn hard, very implausible.
Yeah,
if you don't do well in the next 6.
There you go. It makes the job of getting back in, especially because you got these other teams. It's not as if the Cardinals right now are 4.5 games out of the wild card race, and the only team they have to worry about is the last team in. They've got like 2, 3, 4 teams that they also have to worry about who are also within striking distance. That's their problem.
You're an inside baseball guy. You get the weeds. You've called the game. I'm a casual baseball fan. And as a fan, looking at the team, wanting them to do well, right? It's the St. Louis Cardinals, for crying out loud. I want October baseball. I'm thinking, okay, the team's not playing well. They haven't really played great for the entire season. They haven't had a really long stretch.
There was about a month and a half where they were one of the best teams in the National League. If you just take that 6 weeks.
But in that 6 weeks, how did Arenado and Goldschmidt do? Okay.
No. They were, I mean, yeah, they were fine,
so,
I guess.
I guess as a fan, is it fair to feel a little cynical, like how can everybody plus Goldschmidt and Arenado turn it around right now at the same time?
It's tough to do. But what this is showing is if those 2 guys aren't, their old selves, it's really difficult to win. You can do it for a month or a month and a half. You can get away with it, but you can't get away with it for 6 months.
Was it 2006 when the Cardinals squeaked? No, yeah. When did they squeak
but they
into the
started
playoffs?
to get, it was 06. They won 83.
But were they ever struggling like this?
Yeah, well,
during
they
that
were,
season, did they look like this where nobody was hot?
They had a lot of injuries. This team is not injured in that way.
Yeah.
I mean, Steven Matz hasn't been available for a long time, but this is not a team who's missing a third or a fourth of its roster, right? It's big boys are in the lineup every night and they're just not producing. And if they're not producing, it is really, really tough to win. So we're going to talk to Matt Pauley about this. He will be joining us in the 11 o'clock hour. Major Garrett, I'm sure, is happy because his Padres are doing well. They are in the playoffs right now if it comes to an end today. And we will talk to him at the bottom of the hour. It looks like we are going to have a vice presidential debate, so we will discuss that. That is set. The presidential debate in September is also set. Robert Tracy, as I mentioned, the chief of police for St. Louis, will be in studio with us. A lot coming up on the show. It's Chris and Amy. Oh, and by the way, there was a texter who says, I don't see the mic icon on my Android phone. I have an Android phone. I see the mic icon on the Odyssey app.
Update the app.
Update your Odyssey app, AUDACY, and leave us a voice message.
That's right. Update the app. And here's what you need to know. We were talking about things that have changed, right? Well, the app has changed. Well, over the past 120 years, windows have changed a lot. Materials have greatly improved, and there are more style options. There are more design options. But do you know what hasn't changed in over a century? Andersen's status as the country's premier window company. And their full-service window replacement division, Renewal by Andersen, continues that tradition of excellence. Their Acclaim windows are made with their exclusive composite Fibrix material. You literally can't get these windows anywhere else. They're custom built for a weather-tight fit, which can help reduce drafts and increase your home's comfort. And here's what's important. Now, through August 31st, they're having a huge 1 month only sale. You can save $329 on every window and $729 on every patio door with 0% interest for 3 years. Just call 314-720-9200, 314-720-9200, 314-720-9200.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been hurt on the job, you need the best. Onder Law. Hurt on the job? Call Onder Law today for a free review at 314 or 618-90000.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. While leaning over the fence, your neighbors said you could save money bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. Your neighbor leaned over a little too much and broke your fence. Dumb news. Somehow fence wood is more expensive than wood. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and to plant really tall shrubs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Public service announcement from Bart Inman, air conditioning. School starting 2024. So all the juniors and seniors, or possibly even the sophomores. But let's just say if you just know school's not for you because it bores you, trade schools is an option for you. A lot of the high schools have it. For your junior and senior year, you can receive credit upon graduation of high school, get a very, very good job in the trades. When I say very good job, you're building America. You're building the school that you're sitting in. You're building the house that you live in. You get great pride in building something every single day. You don't want to go to college, pick a trade school. I'm partial to Ranken Technical, so pass this along. If you're not in the trades, or if you're a parent or your grandparent, speak with your child or your grandchild. Remember, boys or girls, the trades are available, and you're not putting your kids in debt for a useless piece of paper. God bless.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Now, your Live Nation lineup.
Don't miss out on the following concerts. Blues Traveler, St. Louis Music Park, September 20th. Celebration Day, St. Louis Music Park, September 27th. Billy Joel and Sting. Busch Stadium, September 27th. Seether and Skillet, St. Louis Music Park, October 3rd.
For tickets and info, hit up livenation.com.
Summertime is the best time to enjoy the outdoors and enhance the appearance of your home. Banner Construction can make your home the showplace of the neighborhood with maintenance-free James Hardy siding and beautiful Pella replacement windows. Drive up to your home with a renewed pride. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050. Get a free in-home design and estimate. Call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day. 314-569-1050.
Missouri is crafting its master plan on aging, and we want to hear from you. Visit health.mo.gov/aging to help shape the future for Missouri. Your voice counts. Sponsored by the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services.
Local insights, breaking news. KMOX, the news station dedicated to St. Louis and the region. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores with you on a Thursday, which is the Friday of the weekdays. Ranj, you brought up something that J.D. Vance said yesterday. Was it on the Laura Ingraham show about the
last night on Fox News,
quote unquote fake media?
We want to actually look at the debates, look at the moderators, talk about the rules a little bit. CBS reached out to us about this literally 3 hours ago. I was landing from a rally and a press conference in Michigan. I strongly suspect we're going to be there on October the 1st, but we're not going to do one of these fake debates, Laura, where they don't actually have an audience there, where they don't actually set the parameters in the right way, where you can have a good exchange of ideas. In other words, we're not going to walk into a fake news media garbage debate. We're going to do a real debate, and if CBS agrees to it, then certainly we'll do it.
Obviously, he's talking about the October 1st debate, which he has since agreed to. So we still, at this moment, don't know what the parameters of that debate are, but it will be on CBS News October 1st between he and Tim Walz.
That's right. And I don't know why he threw in not having an audience, how that's fake. That
has nothing to do with whether or not a debate is real.
Yeah. And again, you can criticize the media, but the whole fake debate makes no sense.
I would say this 200 years ago it did, because you were, if you're debating in front of nobody and nobody ever hears it, fine. But now we have a thing called television.
So I always feel like the truth is never sexy enough. The truth is never fabulous enough for people, and people love to get riled up. They love to feel angry. And here's the thing. I am a subscriber to a lot of legacy media outlets like the New York Times, the Washington Post. I watch CNN, right? Also the Wall Street Journal, the Atlantic, the National Review, USA Today, you name it, I subscribe to it. That's why I have no money left. And when it comes to the reporting, there are so many incredible reporters on the ground in Afghanistan, in Ukraine, in Washington, D.C., doing great work. They are separate from the editorial boards. The editorial boards, they give opinions. So yes, the New York Times is very left-leaning. The editorial board says it. The Wall Street Journal is right-leaning. The editorial board lets their opinion be known. They're different than reporters. Another thing that's different are the headline writers. And I think it's fair to be frustrated by headlines And if I were a reporter, which I've written stories before, and then I don't get to write my headline, you can start to see the bias. And I think headline writers would do well to be a bit more careful. So here is from CBS News, which does great work. So both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have said that they want to stop taxing tips on service workers, right? Workers and waitresses, or I should say servers, waiters, all of that. They don't have to tax tips. Both of them want to do it. Here's the headline from CBS News. Former President Donald Trump's vow to stop taxing tips would cost the federal government up to $250 billion over 10 years, according to a nonpartisan watchdog group. So, okay, you think, well, I guess that's just facts, what they're saying. It kind of makes you feel wary of his plan to cut taxing tips. Here's the headline about Vice President. Vice President Kamala Harris is rolling out a new policy position, saying she'll fight to end taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers. There, it sounds like she's fighting for the worker rather than Trump is stealing from the federal government. To me, those two headlines do show a bias.
Those both from CBS?
Both from CBS News.
Now, I looked, I've only seen the screenshot of that because I've seen people trying to compare the two. I haven't seen the actual headline for myself. Have you seen them? I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying that I have not seen them other than and I'm always skeptical now of screenshots,
which you have to
just
be.
Because of how easy it is to fake them.
And I've seen them. And here's the thing. When you read a story, sometimes the headline makes it sound much more scandalous than it actually is. That's why headline writers, a lot of times people don't read the story. They just read the headline, and you do see the bias in it. The Washington Post, do you remember when al-Baghdadi was killed? He was the leader of the Islamic State. So he is a terrorist. And the Washington Post called him in the headline an austere religious scholar. And they were roundly lampooned and mocked for saying, oh my gosh, this guy was ahead of the terrorist group, the Islamic State. And so they eventually changed their headline. But again, a headline like that sows distrust to people because it said, wait a minute, it's like someone said, it's like calling Hitler a passionate community planner. That was one of the jokes. It was like, okay, this guy was a terrorist, and you're not telling the truth in the headline. So I see why people feel skeptical and don't play us for fools.
Yeah,
We're not
fools. It doesn't mean that media is doing a bad job or that some of these legacy outlets are doing a poor job of covering events, covering things people say. They just have to be more careful in the way headlines are written. And by the way, it's not just one person writing all the headlines. There are different people, different editors who are doing all of that. They just have to be more careful. Let's talk to Major Garrett, CBS News Chief Washington Correspondent. He's next on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Del Walmsley and the Wealth Cycle. This is the wealth cycle that I've taught for 30 years. Buy one house, 10 houses, an apartment, 2 apartments, 8, 20, 500 units, 1,000 units, 2,000, 5,000 units. And as you keep putting the money and the profits back in, you become one of those rich people. And much quicker than you'd even believe.
Learn Dell's Wealth Cycle at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Use promo code 2024. Save 60%. Code 2024. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
It's August already. Summer is over. The kids are going back to school, but it might be a perfect time for you to call Chesterfield Fence and Deck and start planning ahead for next spring and summer. Or maybe you're thinking about ways to use your outdoor space more year-round. Well, Chesterfield Fence and Deck does a fantastic job with custom sunrooms and screen rooms so that you can really get a 3 or 4 season use and really enjoy fall and winter in your outdoor space. They also do a great job at Chesterfield Fence and Deck with fences and decks, patios, pergolas, and so much more. So whether you're looking to get a project done this year or planning ahead for next, they do free in-home design and free in-home estimates, or stop by and see Chesterfield Fence and Deck at their beautiful showroom and warehouse in the Chesterfield Valley. Mention me, Debbie Monterey, and they'll offer you 20% off your next project. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Visit them online now at chesterfieldfence.com.
10:30, we've got clouds, 80 downtown at the Arch. Practically anything with wheels and a motor. That's how St. Louis Public Schools Chief Operations Officer Square Watson describes the catch-all approach to getting kids to school. Thousands will have to ride on Metro Transit.
Metro has been committed to provide some visibility by patrolling routes. They also will have security that will be monitoring routes during these service hours.
But Metro Transit says it's going to need some help from the school district to pay for more security. SLPS is begging for donations of gas cards. The district asked anybody who has buses available to respond to a request for proposals due yesterday.
The Cardinals get swept by the Cincinnati Reds, losing yesterday 9-2. With the loss, the Cardinals dropped to 60-61. They're below 500 for the first time since late June. Kyle Gibson makes the start, takes the loss, goes 4 2/3 innings, allowing 7 runs on 7 hits. The Cardinals allow 5 home runs in the game. Today is a much-needed off day for the Cardinals. They get back at tomorrow night as they are set to match up against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Game time 7:15. Our coverage will begin tomorrow at 6:20. With the Redbird Report, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
High today of about 90, low 75 for tomorrow, high 93. Sponsored by DesignAirService.com, St. Louis leading air conditioning and repair service, 80 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Charlie Brennan here. If your AC stops working, don't suffer. Design Air Heating and Cooling offers same-day emergency service. Call Design Air at 314-739-1600. DesignAirService.com.
Hey, fantasy football fans, do you want to be the owner who was doing a cram session the night before the draft? I didn't think so. You need to start your prep now. This is Faraz from Upper Hand Fantasy. Zach and I are here to get you ready for your fantasy football drafts with insights and advice. From sleepers to busts, we've got you covered and give it the upper hand on your friends. Today is the day to start getting ready for the draft. So join us and stay ahead of the competition. Follow and listen to Upper Hand Fantasy on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Vira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Ribicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Ribicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovitin is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovitin at neovitin.com today.
For everything St. Louis Cardinals, it's Cardinals Conversations. Use the Odyssey app or hear it on your favorite podcast platform. From game analysis, player and management interviews, it's exclusive Cardinals content from KMOX Sports, where the Redbird talk never stops.
It's Thursday morning after 10:30, and as we always do at this time, we visit with our guy, Chief Washington correspondent for CBS News. He is the host of the Takeout podcast and agent of betrayal. You can also read his very good book, The Big Truth, Upholding Democracy in the Age of the Big Lie. Major Garrett with us on the Quiver River Electric guest line. Good morning, Major.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, we are great. We are excited about the CBS vice presidential debate. Are you moderating?
Are you it? Are you the guy?
Are you the moderator?
If I am, no one's told me.
Okay.
I'm taking it.
Well,
as
then
a
I'm not
yes.
watching.
It's Major or nobody. There's going to be a protest. It'll be me and Ranj.
That's right. We'll have our own debate.
We'll have.
You want to moderate our debate?
Why is he laughing so much?
He'd be like, what a giant waste of time for me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, we don't know about the debate, but I am anchoring for Nora O'Donnell this week, as I did last week for the CBS Evening News. So there's that.
Okay.
It's very
Well, we can
exciting.
watch that
You
then
do a
at
great
least.
job.
So,
All
yes,
right.
the debate is going to happen. I don't know if we have parameters of the debate yet. I've not seen if there's going to be a crowd, but J.D. Vance insisted on one. Do we know much about how it's going to look?
So I haven't received any internal guidance on that. The original idea was to have the debate here in Washington, D.C. That's no longer the case. It will be in New York. My guess is, and I don't know because that hasn't been discussed internally, it would be at our big studio in Times Square where we do CBS Mornings. That's a large space. So we do election night coverage, or we have for the last couple of election cycles. That's my guess, but I don't know because we haven't announced it publicly and we haven't even announced it internally. But that's just my assumption, and I don't think there'll be an audience because that's not the way we don't have resource. We don't. There's not a venue for that in New York that we have, and the studios that we have at Times Square, where we do the morning show every day, and where we've done election night coverage, are large enough to accommodate campaigns and their entourages and all the other things you need. Plus, it's an ample size venue for multiple cameras, which is also something you need for a vice presidential debate. So that's my guess, but I don't know for sure.
All right, Major. The Democratic National Convention is next week.
Mm-hmm.
Last for the Republican National Convention, because it came on the heels of the assassination attempt for Donald Trump. I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be explosive, incredible, and emotional. But now with President Joe Biden stepping down and Kamala Harris being introduced at the DNC, I feel like there's potential that this could be even bigger and with more emotion and enthusiasm. What are your thoughts about the DNC?
So I predict that it will be an enthusiastic and unified Democratic National Convention. And all the marquee Democrats of old will be there. They've already been announced. But this will be a breakout moment for other people within the party, that bench of others who rapidly coalesced around Vice President Harris, but who have emerging political identities of their own. Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, governor of California, Gavin Newsom, certainly Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, among others, Roy Cooper, the governor of North Carolina. And Democrats will go into Chicago enthused in ways they simply would not have had President Biden still been leading the ticket, because what has been obvious in the last 3 weeks is that, and this is something that Democrats were telling me for weeks and weeks and weeks leading up to the first debate with President Trump and then thereafter, that the Democratic Party was unified on the agenda, but dismayed in the extreme about the prospects of seeing President Biden lead the ticket and campaign for re-election. Not because they didn't think the country supported the messaging, they just didn't think the message was being communicated, and that Biden was losing the image war with Trump. He was losing the vitality war with Trump, and that was not going to change. Well, now it has changed. The messaging is sharper, the vitality is clearly in contrast, and Democrats now have come to believe that the incumbency arrow has moved from Biden to Trump. Trump is now the incumbent in this race, even though he's not an office holder. Remember, incumbency is not just a title, it's a state of mind and how you view somebody on the national stage. Kamala Harris looks like the youthful, fresh-faced alternative, the change agent. Trump does not. He did against Biden. So Democrats feel a great well of enthusiasm, and certainly the crowds on the road reflect that. What Democrats have to be mindful of, and I would say concerned about, is the potential for the race to shift yet again. And races can shift. I'll remind you, I went back and looked at these numbers. 1988, July, Michael Dukakis emerges from the Democratic National Convention with, you won't believe me when I tell you, but you can look it up, a 17-point lead over George Herbert Walker Bush. 17 points. By the time the Republican convention comes around, Bush is leading Dukakis by 4 points, 45% to 41%. So that looks like a very, very competitive race. In the end, George Herbert Walker Bush won more than 400 electoral votes. Okay. A wipeout, the last time anyone running for the presidency in our country has amassed more than 400 electoral votes. That was George H.W. Bush. And in July of that year, he was trailing Dukakis by 17 points. Things can move, things can shift. But clearly, the emotional energy is with the Harris-Walz ticket. The perception energy is with them. And that's all going to manifest in Chicago. The great task for their party and that ticket after that is maintaining it and not letting them slip, not letting all those positive things slip through their fingers.
There's no clearer evidence for what you're talking about than a month ago after the assassination attempt. This race looked over.
I mean, the whole atmosphere in Milwaukee was, how big is Trump going to win by and who's going to be in the cabinet? That was the entire conversation. How much is he going to win by? Will it be a landslide? And who's going to be in the cabinet? That's no longer the conversation.
Major, tomorrow we are supposed to get more detail on Kamala Harris's economic vision. She has yet to do an interview with a reporter. She has not done a one-on-one. She hasn't really done a press conference. She's taken criticism. Is it a big deal that she has not done it yet?
It's a big deal to me. Look, I'm a journalist. Every journalist wants to talk to people in positions of power, and as routinely and as persistently as possible. Is it a political problem? Not yet. And her attitude about talking to the media will change when it becomes a political problem. And if it doesn't become a political problem, guess what? She's not going to do it. You only chase the media when you need to chase the media. You know how I know that? Watch Donald Trump, who hates the media, who calls us the enemy of the people, but who chases us relentlessly now. Why? Because he's down. He needs media exposure. So as much as he castigates us wrongly, really wrongly, calls us the enemy of the people, he chases us. He's chasing us again today with a press conference in Bedminster with no known topic, just because he needs media attention. When you're trailing, when you're no longer driving the debate or driving the messaging, you need the media. When you are driving the message and when the wind is at your back, guess what you don't need? The media. This is true for all politicians, in all circumstances, in all races, large and small. Harris's attitude about the media and her need to interact with it will change only when her polling and political prospects change. Now, she may have a lot of wind at her sails and say, okay, I'll do a big presser. Fine. When she feels like she's sufficiently protected from any fumbles or stumbles that she might make. But all politicians calculate interactions with the media in a what can it do for me basis. That's a fundamental of politics, has been throughout my career.
Major, speaking of the media and being in or out of the spotlight, one senator who's kind of been laying low since Kamala Harris has been the presidential candidate for the Democrats is Senator Jon Tester out of Montana. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this. I know it's a little in the weeds, but it's kind of interesting because Jon Tester, right, a Democratic senator out of a very red state in Montana has a race coming up. And he is being challenged now by a Republican candidate. And this Montana Senate race could decide control of the Senate in 2025. And he kind of has to walk a fine line here with his statements. And he hasn't said yet, I don't think, that he's endorsing Harris. It's like he's lying low.
Sure, of course. And that will be with the full permission of the Harris campaign. Do what you have to do. Win your state. Know your state. Jon Tester knows his state. He has been circled on the map by Republicans time and time again and narrowly been able to win his seat and re-election. This is going to be the most difficult time because it's a presidential election, which means the turnout modeling will be higher. More Republicans will participate. He is among the most vulnerable, if not the most vulnerable, statistically speaking, Senate Democrats seeking re-election. And if he needs to, he may denounce Kamala Harris. I mean, he may say some things tomorrow after economic speech saying that's not far enough or that's not good enough or it doesn't fit Montana values. He will do whatever he needs to orient himself toward Montana and away from Washington and the Harris-Walz ticket if he needs to. And Harris will be perfectly fine with that because the imperative for Democrats is to protect that Senate majority. And these calculations are now being not scrambled, but they're being reevaluated as the momentum for the Harris-Walz ticket looks to be pretty consistent. Remember, before Biden dropped out, most Senate Democrats seeking re-election were running ahead of Joe Biden. Bob Casey was running ahead of him in Pennsylvania. Tammy Baldwin was running ahead of him in Wisconsin. John Tester was running ahead of Biden in Montana. Not a hard thing to do. My point is that and Sherrod Brown was running ahead of him in Ohio. The only place that wasn't true is West Virginia. So Senate Democrats were running ahead of Biden. Now, with Harris gaining momentum, they're feeling their own poll numbers increasing. Bob Casey's margin over David McCormick in Pennsylvania has grown. Tammy Baldwin's over Eric Hovde in Wisconsin has grown. So if Democrats think that they can really hold the Senate, and Tester is the last real vulnerable part on the map, then they're going to let Tester do and say whatever he has to say to hold that seat. Because now Democrats are looking at this map, perhaps overconfidently. I would warn against that, but nevertheless, saying, wait a minute, Harris could win, we could hold the Senate and take back the House. That's how much this race has shifted, at least in the expectations mentality in the last 4 weeks. Again, much could shift. All this could slip through their fingers, but that's the arc of conversation among Democrats now.
Major Garrett, who is on the takeout this week?
So I thought it would be a good idea, with all the things I've just talked about and we've just talked about, to have on the show the last person who ran the national campaign for a woman nominee of the Democratic Party, Robbie Mook, who ran Hillary Clinton's campaign, quite unsuccessfully. Trust me, he's got all the scars and regrets accumulated over an entire lifetime for losing that one race. But he's going to be a guest on the show this week because I want to talk to him about the things that Harris ought to be worried about and the trapdoors awaiting her campaign, even amidst all of this enthusiasm and sense of boundless possibilities. So Robbie Mook, campaign manager for Hillary Clinton, on the takeout this week.
We'll be looking forward to listening to that and avoiding the vice presidential debate if you're not the moderator.
I know. Major or no one. Make sure your bosses know.
If it's not
Solidarity always.
Always.
Solidarity always.
You're part of our team, and we are not going to have anything to do. We're not even going to acknowledge that it happened.
We won't even mention
Don't
it.
even talk about it.
It's dead to us.
That's right.
I would love to be able to say thank you, but I think I would get in trouble if I said thank you. So
Okay.
I will just acknowledge it
All right.
respectfully.
All right.
Well,
if you could do anything for us, then maybe make your Padres slow down a little bit. We could use some help.
it's a little rough here in St. Louis.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. They're on their way. Talk about wind in our sails. There's a great deal of wind in our sails right now.
I think the Cardinals gave up a home run to the Padres yesterday.
They
and
didn't
they
even
didn't even play
play.
them.
Thanks, Major.
I see you.
Major Garrett, Chief Washington correspondent for CBS News. He is absolutely the best.
And if he doesn't moderate that vice presidential debate,
screw that debate.
that's right.
By the way, the DNC is next week, as he mentioned. Thursday night from 8 until 10 o'clock, we are going to be airing it live. So the final day of that convention, the DNC, that's going to happen. Also, we did mention the Cardinals, who got swept in Cincinnati, and they now find themselves in a pretty precarious position.
Very precarious.
What in the world do you want the Cardinals to do? There's only one way to tell us.
One way.
On the Odyssey app. Hit the microphone button when you go to the KMOX page. Hit the mic button, leave us a voice message, and maybe we will play it right here on KMOX.
All right. Well, again, think about what you want to say. Leave us a voice message. And in the meantime, you need to call Renewal by Andersen because their huge 1 month only sale is happening right now. So call for an appointment today. And here's what you'll do. You'll save $329 on every window and $729 on every patio door with 0% interest for 3 years. So among leading full-service window replacement companies in St. Louis, Renewal by Andersen has the most 5-star reviews. And their parent company, Andersen, has been building quality windows and doors since 1903. So you'd be crazy to pass up this amazing deal. Renewal by Andersen's 1 month only sale ends August 31st. And again, it's $329 off every window and $729 off every patio door with 0% interest for 3 years. Call 314-720-9200. 314-720-9200. That's 314-720-9200.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with Clayman Group, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy houses direct and as is condition with no middleman involved. I recently bought a house from somebody that was embarrassed to let me in the door. There was stuff all over the place and the entire house smelled like smoke. However, we were definitely able to see the potential. We gave them a great cash offer that they were very happy with. So if you have a house that isn't in the best shape, maybe in disrepair, we're interested in making you an as is cash offer. Please reach out today, KLAMEN Group.com.
Saturdays are made for soccer and City SC on Y98. Whether you're running around town watching your kids from the sidelines or making the time to give blood and save lives by making your appointment at Impact Life, your community blood center. Make your appointment today at bloodcenter.org/soccer. And remember, you can always catch the City SC game anywhere on the Odyssey app and on Y98, your home for St. Louis City Soccer.
For eligible individuals, 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Select's premium package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge. Oh, you people are wonderful. Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee. I hear better than I ever thought possible. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/try. That's JABRA Enhance.com/try. JabraEnhance.com/try.
How could they make things even better at Genesis of St. Charles? How about 0% financing through the end of August? That's right, 0% financing on fantastic, unbelievable Genesis vehicles, sedans, SUVs, several fully electric models as well. All you need to do is head to Genesis of St. Charles, walk into their beautiful state-of-the-art facility, and get behind the wheel of a Genesis and drive off today. A quarter-mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive off 70 or online at genesisofsttcharles.com.
The Bomarito Automotive Group 500 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's not just a race, it's a spectacle. Go to WWTRaceway.com now because the first deal is the best deal. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Discover Downstate, Illinois.
Hi, this is Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. Do not trust your BMW to some quickie lube place. Bring it to our award-winning service department. That's Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
I'm Joe Pott. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy?
Amy, I got good news for you.
Oh?
You can go back to North Korea to travel.
That's awesome.
Soon.
Awesome.
North Korea announced that they will reopen one city to foreign tourists in December after nearly 5 years of border closures. So you can go back and visit Pyongyang.
That's where you can go?
Yeah.
Is this the old autocratic dictatorial trick like, oh, this city is totally safe. Come on in.
Yes, and then we're going to kidnap you, and then you'll have to trade something for it.
That's exactly right. Is this the old trick? Like, it's totally safe to come into this creepy garage.
Look, man, we just went through this whole prisoner swap thing, and I know this is a little bit different. This is a different kind of relationship that we have with them. We don't really have much, but at any rate, the United States very much wants you to be careful about where you go, so they don't have to do prisoner swaps.
Right.
So could you just stay home Just stay home.
Don't go to North Korea. Don't go to
The planet is massive. You don't have to go to North Korea.
Yeah. Or Iran.
You don't have to go to Iran. You don't have to go to Moscow.
No.
You don't have to do all those things.
Don't do those things. Hey, guess where you can go, where it's totally safe to go? The UK.
Oh.
And guess what? You've heard of Stonehenge, right? You know, the stones that are stacked.
Yes.
Guess what? The 6-ton altar stone, it's the stone that is at the heart of Stonehenge, so 12,000 pounds. So apparently...
I could lift it.
I bet you could. Apparently, it did not come from nearby Wales, as everyone previously thought. It actually originated in northeast Scotland, which means these ancient builders carried this 12,000-pound stone at least 435 miles
Or
minimum.
if they're like me, they just plopped it on their shoulder and took a walk. Very impressive. Very impressive.
I don't even have a joke for you.
There isn't a good joke. Speaking of debates, Lucas Kuntz and Josh Hawley talked about it today, kind of in a very childish way, and you're going to hear it when we come back on KMOX.
Home values are sky high and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market is peaked, so if you're thinking about selling, it's time, except for two things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Hey, St. Louis, our friends at Together Credit Union just launched a brand new high-yield checking account, and they call it Empower Checking. So with Empower Checking, you earn above-market interest on the money you keep in your day-to-day checking account. Interest is paid to you each month. It's a checking account that rewards you for balances and not activity. So if your money's in your checking account, it's not just sitting there like a bump on a log. To apply, to find out more, you can visit togethercu.org or stop by any one of the 14 local St. Louis branches. And when you do that, you can work directly with one of their awesome member advocates. At Together Credit Union, they say, get paid to save with Empowered Checking. Visit togethercu.org/empower for full terms and details. Membership eligibility required. Together Credit Union, federally insured by the NCUA.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
11 o'clock, clouds, 81 downtown at the Arch. No need to panic if you see a bunch of emergency vehicles at St. Pius High School in Festus. Grant Bissell with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department says it's just training to prepare for the unfortunate evil of school shootings.
And we need the people who are fighting on the side of good to be prepared to handle and stop that evil. And really, that's what today is all about. That's why we wanted to bring in all of our partners who would be potentially responding to something like this. Most realistic we can make it, get all those moving parts together so that we can be on the same page and prepared in Jefferson County should the worst case happen.
No students are present this morning. Things should wrap up by 12:30. The White House says the latest Gaza ceasefire talks have had a promising start. CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick.
The talks have begun in Doha, and the National Security Council's John Kirby says they're focused on the details of implementation of an agreement.
There remains a lot of work to do given the complexity of the agreement. We do not anticipate coming out of these talks today with a deal. In fact, I'd expect the talks to continue into tomorrow.
He said remaining obstacles can be overcome and the process must be brought to a close.
On the city schools transportation crisis, a plea from board president Tony Cousins.
Please, businesses, will you please consider, or whomever you are, to donate some gas vouchers to our families who might really need them.
630 students' families have decided to provide their own rides to school. 1,600 will take Metro Transit. 6,200 students will ride in individually booked cabs and vans. 6,400 will get a traditional yellow bus to school. There's been an arrest and others may follow in the ketamine-related death of Friends actor Matthew Perry. More from KNX reporter Karen Adams.
We know that at least one person, a doctor, has been arrested in this death investigation. Warrants were issued this morning for more. The Friends star was found dead in his hot tub last October. The medical examiner determined he died from the acute effects of ketamine.
The KMOX business desk keeping the power on.
The strain of a hurricane on the Texas power grid and the disruption it caused to factories help explain a worse than forecast reading of July U.S. industrial production, which fell 0.6%. Factory output was halted after Hurricane Beryl barreled through eastern Texas early in the month and caused a massive power outage for millions of homes and businesses. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel up 446 points to 40,454.
Clouds and some sun, very warm and humid this afternoon. There'll be a couple of thunderstorms around into tonight. Any thunderstorm can be strong to severe, producing flooding, downpours, hail, damaging wind gusts, and maybe an isolated tornado. Our high this afternoon near 90. Some clouds, warm and sticky late tonight, though 75. I'm AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Fast Eddie's Bon Air. If you are 21, go over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air on 1530 East 4th Street for great food and entertainment. The home of the Big Elwood on a Stick, the Big Fat Eddie Burger, and the world-famous Peel and Eat Shrimp. Go to Fast Eddie's in Alton in Illinois. Cloudy and 81 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Get paid to save with Empower Checking, a new high-yield checking account. Visit togethercu.org/empower.
Amy March scores. Brilliant. Yes.
Oh. Well, that look, you can use the voice messaging system. We don't want you to do that.
Well, hello.
Oh.
Don't do that.
Ranj looks like he smells good.
No one
Don't do
said
that.
Well, because no one did do that.
But I do smell good.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
He's a big perfume guy.
Excuse me, it's fragrance.
Fragrance.
I always smell good.
He's a big fragrance guy.
Love it. Love it. Have
he likes
multiples.
a spritz.
I love to spritz. But I always smell good. Leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app. We asked you the question about the Cardinals who have gotten swept by the Reds.
Yeah.
Not a good showing at all in Cincinnati, and definitely not what you need when you're trying to hang on to a playoff position. They're out of the playoffs right now. If the season came to an end, what do they need to do? What should they do? Let us know. Get the Odyssey app and drop us a voice message. You see the little microphone button, tap it, leave a message, and hit send, and maybe we will play it on the show.
I will say this about the Cardinals, having recently watched Rookie of the Year, the greatest sports movie ever made, and Daniel Stern is in it, and he always locks himself in things. Like he gets stuck in the snack area and all of that, and he goes, oh boy, oh boy. That's how I feel watching the Cardinals.
So real quick,
against Cincinnati.
I just saw a thing about him in that movie.
Yeah.
That he's always getting stuck, like you said.
He got stuck between, connecting rooms in a hotel.
Yeah,
he
so
got stuck between the doors.
He had something, he was writing and directing it?
Yeah, he directed it.
Okay. So apparently, because he didn't want to spend too much time in scenes in the movie because he was busy doing the other stuff, he wrote himself getting stuck.
He did.
So that he wouldn't have to actually be in scenes with other people.
He missed the whole road trip, stuck between the connecting rooms of a hotel.
So he didn't have to act in any of those scenes. He wrote that into it so he could just be busy directing.
Yeah, because I think he was the pitching coach or something. And so he was never at any of the games because he was always stuck somewhere.
I think that is so
but
funny.
I will say, again, watching the series against Cincinnati, it was, oh boy.
Yeah, it's
oh boy.
A lot of oh boy. They're 4.5 games out of a wild card. What do you want them to do? What should happen with the Cardinals now with 6 weeks about left to go in the season? You've got the Odyssey app. You can leave us a voice message. So ongoing right now, it's been happening for about a week. It is the Missouri State Fair. It is ongoing in Sedalia. And Josh Hawley, you have?
I did. I went as a kid.
The Missouri State Fair or
That's
just
right.
Sedalia?
The Missouri State Fair in Sedalia.
Okay. Well, it concludes, I believe, on Sunday, but it is still ongoing right now. And you may have heard Josh Hawley is one of your senators, and he is an incumbent, and he is, of course, running again in November against Lucas Kunce, who is the Democratic nominee. Both men have talked about having a debate. Hawley wanted to have a Lincoln Douglas style debate on a flatbed or something during this Missouri State Fair, not televised. He just wanted to have it done, I think, during the day, during the fair. Lucas Kunce has said, I will agree to a debate that will be televised. So the two apparently at a thing called the Governor's Ham Breakfast, which it kind of sounds awesome. But this morning,
Governor's ham
don't
breakfast?
laugh at the Governor's
I love it.
Ham Breakfast.
No, I love that it's not just the Governor's breakfast. It's specifically ham centered.
It's called the Governor's Ham Breakfast.
Ham centric breakfast, and I love that. Specificity in these situations can be delightful.
Well, so at the Governor's Ham Breakfast in Sedalia, which took place this morning, part of the Missouri State Fair, Lucas Kunce and Josh Hawley ran into each other and had this exchange.
Sure, but he's got to show
Which
up.
Which ones? How about Fox News?
Let's go. Let's do it right now.
You down on Fox News?
Let's debate right now.
Can you say yes to Fox News?
Are you going to debate today?
Can you say yes to Fox
News? If you'll show up and debate today, we'll do a whole bunch more.
Can you say yes to Fox News?
Show up and debate today, we'll do a whole bunch more.
You can't do it, man.
Right here.
You can't do it.
Right here.
Okay, so the one who keeps saying Fox News, you want to do it on Fox News, that's Lucas Kunce. Josh Hawley is the other one who's speaking in that clip, courtesy of KMOV. Yeah, so that was a bit of an unproductive exchange between the two of them. I will say this, I don't know that for the people of the state, I guess for the people who are at the fair right now, a debate that's live, not televised in front of them would be nice. But it's 2024. If we're going to do debates, let's televise them. I don't think there's any reason to do it if it's not on TV where all of us have the ability to see it.
But it would be an awesome memory. Here you are just trying to enjoy your ham at the Governor's Ham Breakfast.
Okay.
And then you have the incumbent senator and his opponent just breaking out into a debate over the breakfast. It'd be kind of interesting.
I'll tell you what, it would make attending a debate way more appealing
If there was ham.
if there was bacon and
Yeah.
ham and pork steaks.
Do you think there was like real vitriol and anger in their back and forth, or do you think it was amicable?
All right. Is it possible for us to go to break early?
No, it's not.
I can't do this.
Yes,
no,
you
I'm kidding.
can.
We're not, Amy.
What?
We're not doing that today.
Well, guess what? We listen.
We're not doing it today.
Fine. I will say this. You know how I remember that I went to the state fair in Sedalia? It's because I asked my mom if this is where they grow the onions.
Oh my God.
I know, but
It's
it's
not even the right
Vidalia.
name.
It's Vidalia onions,
I know,
not Sedalia
okay.
onions. But you can see how as a kid, it
Yeah, as a
sounds
kid.
like Sedalia onions.
Sure. But as we talk about debates today,
Yeah.
because vice presidential candidates Tim Walz and J.D. Vance have agreed to at least one debate on October 1st. It will be televised by CBS News. We spoke to Major Garrett, who didn't have any special insight as to what it's going to look like in terms of a crowd, who's going to moderate it, that sort of thing. It is debate season, Amy. And I want these two candidates, and Kuntz believes that he has an opportunity here, a real shot to win that seat from Hawley. I don't know how good of a shot he does have. My impression is that the incumbent will win, but surprising things happen. You never really know. But I would like to see the two of them go at it, but I want to be able to see it. I don't want it to happen at a state fair where a couple of hundred people are able to watch.
And it's going to be a very different debate if Lucas Kuntz and Josh Hawley were to debate each other. It's going to look different than what we've been used to, like the last debate, which was Biden and Trump. I mean, Josh Hawley, you may not like him, but he's a smart guy. He's not dumb.
Of course he is.
He's not an idiot. He knows policy. He knows government. You can say he's changed with the MAGA right, sure, but he's smart, and it would be an interesting debate. And honestly, from a policy perspective, from the future of our state perspective, I would like to see it. I do think that seat is going to be pretty solidly red. I don't think it's going to be particularly close. Of course, I could be wrong, but I don't think that is going to be hotly contested. But I would like to see that debate for sure. This is not apropos to politics, but speaking of debates, right, and policies, wouldn't it be interesting if the general managers of like sports teams had to publicly debate the next guy vying for the job?
I think that would be awful.
Like if John Mozeliak had to debate
That would
another
just be
guy.
awful.
You wouldn't want to see that?
No.
Why?
I don't know what good can come from it. I think honestly they should have to fight to the death.
Okay. Well, that's
Let's just do gladiator stuff.
gladiator style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it used to work. For a
Well-
long time it used to work.
Yeah. Anyway, it will be interesting to see. Hey, I did want to throw this out there again, apropos of nothing, but I saw a story coming out of Detroit about a nonprofit group took some kids to a district court in Detroit to learn about the legal system. So they could sit in court, right? Watch a real part of a real trial take place and learn about the justice system. So that one of the, they're like 14, 15, 16 years old. One of the students, a 15-year-old girl, fell asleep while the judge was in the court taking questions from the kids because the prosecution and the defense had not arrived yet. The trial hadn't started yet. So he was fielding questions from the students. She fell asleep and he didn't like it. And he said something like, hey, you fall asleep. Well, quote, you fall asleep in my courtroom one more time, I'm going to put you in back. Understood? And then I guess the teen snapped back at him, had a little attitude is what he called it.
Oh.
And he said it wasn't so much, in fact, that she had fallen asleep, because I've had attorneys that fall asleep sometimes. So that's not a big deal. It was her whole attitude and her whole disposition that disturbed me. So he had her handcuffed and put in a jail uniform. And then he threatened this 15-year-old with jail time at the juvenile detention facility.
So, okay,
And
I
is
would need an
this-
attorney to parse this because is that is she in contempt of court
But
for
well,
not
the
being
trial
in
hadn't s-
court? It hadn't,
yeah.
right. So just being in the courtroom, falling asleep while a judge is just talking to students on a field trip.
And is
If
this
it's not a court proceeding, I don't know how you can do that.
right?
It
And
seems
is
like a
it-
Fourth Amendment violation.
It seems like an actual violation versus a, well, scare them straight type things,
Well,
right?
yeah.
Like, you know how adults or teachers will do that? But I think it's the fact that the student was handcuffed and had to put on prison clothes. The judge then had other students vote if she should be sent to the detention facility. And he said, I probably wasn't really going to do that. Could I have? Probably so. But
Probably so.
But that's
You
not,
better know.
That's not what I want to do to a kid on a field trip.
But you do want to put her in cuffs and then put her in the back holding cell.
Yeah, something seems off about that.
I feel like a lawsuit's coming. There has to be. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he can do whatever he wants, even if a proceeding is not actually happening in that moment. But it really does seem like a Fourth Amendment violation.
And I get it. It's disrespectful to snap back at a judge, but I feel like legally, I feel
Yeah.
like aren't there some libertarians out there who are losing their minds right now?
They would. That just doesn't. It doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
Although I am all for scaring
See,
children.
I know. And this is the thing. You liked it. You think it's a Fourth Amendment violation, and yet you are on board with this judge because
Hey,
you think you should take the
Kids
baseball.
gotta learn.
Take the baseball from the kid at Busch Stadium and then lock up the kid when
Kids gotta learn.
she has attitude.
Right? We gotta.
Well, leave a voicemail or voice message.
Mhm.
Again, go to the Odyssey app, KMOX, open that page. There's a microphone right there. If you don't see it, update the app. It's right there in the middle of the page. Leave us a voicemail because do you agree that this judge was scaring her straight? Or do you think this was like a Fourth Amendment violation here? I feel like there could be an issue.
I'm not gonna lie. I just listened for the commercials.
Okay.
Well, have I got news for you?
That's not the kind of voicemail we're looking for.
No,
not
it's
here to
not.
insult us. Go ahead, Amy.
Guess what I've got, buddy? Renewal by Anderson. Woo! Huge 1 month sale is happening right now. Okay, call for an appointment today and you'll save $329 on every window and $729 on every patio door with 0% interest for 3 years. Now, I think this is a big deal because, you always look at the reviews. You want to know, what are people saying? Well, among leading full-service window replacement companies in St. Louis, Renewal by Anderson has the most 5-star reviews. That's huge. It's hard to get 5-star reviews over and over and again. Anderson does. Their parent company, Anderson, has been building quality windows and doors since 1903. So it'd be crazy to pass up this deal knowing you'll get the absolute best quality at a great price. Renewal by Anderson's 1 month only sale ends August 31st. Again, the numbers, $329 off every window, $729 off every patio door, 0% interest for 3 years. Call 314-720-9200, 314-720-9200, 314-720-9200.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BEDSOR.
If you're thinking about selling your home, I'm sure there are two things that you want: certainty and the most money, right? This is Debbie Monterey, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know that the agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis's real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first call when looking for an agent. Gloria does not make empty promises. She provides written guarantees. What does that mean for you? Certainty. Certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis's real estate expert, Gloria Liu, at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Says here that Gray Bar is a distributor.
Yeah.
We support electrical and datacom projects all over the country.
So you can get me the products I need, where and when I need them?
Yeah, thanks to our national logistics network.
Any industry?
Yeah, construction, industrial plants, schools, hospitals.
So you could say Graybar is much more than a distributor.
Yeah, you could say that. When you need a hand powering, connecting, or maintaining your operations, join the thousands of professionals who rely on Graybar to help keep them up and running. Yeah, Graybar does that.
We all have different ideas of the perfect retirement, but they all depend on the same thing, not running out of money. Steve All and the team at the All Financial Group can help you develop a retirement income stream that fits your idea of the perfect retirement. Call 636-230-8824 or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
You can host the best backyard barbecue. When you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
St. Louis, Walk to End Lupus now. The 2024 Walk to End Lupus takes place September 7th at Creve Coeur Lake Memorial Park under the Training Pavilion. Join us in person to Walk to End Lupus now. For more information, visit the website at lupus.org/heartland.
Hey folks, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house on the walls, patios, walkways, porch, or chimneys? If so, this might be a great time to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. What's tuck pointing? It's the removal of old mortar and the replacement of new mortar on a wall or chimney. Sometimes that mortar can become loose, missing, or deeply eroded. We've used the Morelli team to tuck point the Brennan home several times, and in fact, this winter, we noticed the bricks that line the ground near our porch in the backyard had gotten out of line and looked pretty cattywampus. One call, Morelli Tuck Pointing, the job was done. Morelli's the company that's won the Angie's List Super Service Award every year, back to back to back since 2005. Check out their reviews on the Google, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau websites. The Masonry Specialists, 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Navigating politics with a balanced perspective, fostering discussions, not arguments. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Remember Mike Shannon? Remember 2011. Go Cardinals.
Oh, Mary was trying to get us going. She's trying to rally the troops.
Anything can happen if you believe.
But Mary, David Freese ain't walking through that door.
He's
Look,
not walking through the Hall of Fame door either.
So that's your fault. Remember when David, just to reiterate,
he gave it back.
Just
This is
to
what we're
reiterate,
referring to.
David Freese was told he was going to be a Cardinals Hall of Famer.
That's right.
And Amy said, absolutely not.
No.
Yes, you did.
Well, I did.
Yes, you did.
I did, but who am I? I'm a nobody. I just said, I think David Freese gave St. Louis the greatest game in baseball history, and it was so exciting. But I didn't know if the Hall of Fame was like, oh, you had that great memory, or if it was your career, because you look at David Freese differently than you look at Bob Gibson or Lou Brock. So I was saying maybe not. Maybe not that he should be there. And anyway, as it turned out, he then wrote a letter saying he was not going to accept the Hall of Fame nomination.
Yeah, he felt bad.
I think he did feel bad.
He felt bad after what you said.
Well,
he said, well, I'm not taking that. I can't have that on me.
Well,
because you know what, though? You weren't the only person. There were other people who thought, okay, great moment, arguably the greatest game in Cardinals history. But
Mike
does that
Greenberg-
warrant having an entire Hall of Fame plaque?
Right.
You can remember it, immortalize the moment in the game, but does that mean you get to be in the Hall of Fame because you did it?
Remember when David Eckstein had his great playoff run or whatever and won the MVP, and then I forgot about David Eckstein. I know David Freese is different because of that game. I think that game should go in the Hall of Fame.
I agree with you.
But I think you put that game, you frame it.
But you really poo-pooed a great Cardinals moment.
I poo-poo his Hall of Fame nomination.
Let's see what David has to say.
I think Mozeliak has to go. He's been orchestrating this whole thing. He's made all the deals. Seems like he's made a lot of bad deals. And I think it's just time for some a fresh face in that position.
Well, first of all, that's probably going to happen anyway after next year because of all the reporting. And I don't know if he's explicitly said it, but the feeling is that when his contract is up after 2025, that he's probably going to step down anyway. So I don't think they let him go before that. But really, in my opinion, whatever the Cardinals' issues are, it's not just that. It's the entire thing. I mean, they've got to assess the entire operation. It's not just the president of baseball operations, it's everybody. It's ownership, it's management, it's everything. Now, we are certainly keeping open the possibility they go on a run here. They've got about 6 weeks to do it, as we've talked about today, but time will run out on them. And they got a lot of hurdles.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen.
So again, we want to hear from you. Go to the mic icon on the Odyssey app on the KMOX page. You can't miss it. It's right in the middle of the page. It's super easy to leave us a voice message. And also, we do want you to keep listening to this entire show, not only because it's a great show, but we have tickets to give away.
Oh, that's right.
We're giving away Brew in the Lou tickets.
We are. We going to do it now?
We can.
Now let's wait.
Oh, okay.
Let's wait.
Don't call.
Don't call
This
yet.
is why you have to be careful. Sometimes we talk through these things on air.
Brew in the Lou is happening Francis Park, October 12th. And we are giving away a pair of tickets today for free and a pair of tickets tomorrow as well. And then next week.
Oh my gosh.
Are we allowed to?
I don't think we're allowed to
this?
say it, but it's awesome.
Hold on. I'm going to check. I think we can say something.
Do you? Why do you think that?
Because it doesn't say we can't.
But if we do it and we're not supposed to, we could go to prison.
There is no, what they call, Amy, an embargo on this. I think we can mention that next week.
Oh my gosh.
All of next week.
All of next week. You have to listen.
All of next week, we will be giving away tickets for the Doobie Brothers and Steve Winwood.
Bring me a higher love.
All next week.
Bring me higher love. Whoa.
Doobie Brothers and Steve Winwood at
It's-
Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, August 24th. And next week,
oh my gosh.
tickets
I want to go to
all
this.
week
I
long.
want to win these tickets.
I know you do.
This is going to be such a fun concert.
Because as far as you're concerned, that's new music. Let's talk some birds. We'll talk Cardinals. We will give you the birds with Matt Pauley when we come back on KMOX.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Limited time. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It is so hot. I mean, it's expected here at times, especially this time of year in St. Louis. But man, when it gets this hot, I've heard the egg farmers are having a serious problem. That's just what I heard. Again, it might be true, it might not. It sounds like it's probably is true that the chicken farmers are having trouble having the eggs because it's so hot. When the chickens lay the egg, it becomes a baby chick. That's hot. So I can only imagine what it is in your house. Well, I don't have to imagine. I've been in your houses when your air conditioner is not working or when it breaks. So if yours is broken or it's not cooling really good, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois, the easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, bartinman.com. Now that is a Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
11:30, clouds, 83 downtown at the Arch. Alton plans to reopen most of Gordon Moore Park Friday, a month and a half after the giant sinkhole opened up. What else could underground mines cause problems? Just about anywhere, says Robert Bauer of the Illinois State Geological Survey.
There's been a lot of coal mining throughout the history of the state that covers quite a range from up along the Illinois River all the way down to the Carbondale, Carrier Mills, and places like that. So there's quite a bit.
Not to mention the 11 limestone mines and other mineral mines throughout the region. You can find detailed maps on the Illinois State Geological Survey's website. This afternoon could have a thunderstorm, high approaching 90. For tonight, humid, low 75. Tomorrow, hot, sunshine, high 93. Right now, it is 83. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Brought to you by the Midwest Wing Fest in Fairview Heights, Illinois.
August 30th and 31st, come out to Midwest Wing Fest in Fairview Heights, Illinois for a legendary food and music festival that benefits combat wounded soldiers and the families of local fallen heroes. Save money and skip the line when you prepay by August 23rd at MidwestWingFest.com. Brought to you by the Shoemaker Loan Team and the Home Foundation.
Broadcasting from the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. We can get more sleep, we can get more sun, and we can get more exercise. But the one thing that we can't get more of is time. It's time to eliminate the one phrase that could be holding you back from reaching your retirement goals. I'll take care of it tomorrow. It's time to pick up the phone and make the call to Gary Goldberg and the team at Financial and Tax Strategies. 618-361-4232 or online at checkwithgary.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Centaurus Financial Inc., an SEC registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Gary Goldberg, NPN number 918615.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121.
Hello, my name is Chad Clayman with Clayman Group, where you can find us online at claymangroup.com, KLAMEN group.com. Do you have a house that you'd like to sell as is and not deal with the market? Maybe you have a tenant not paying the rent or a house in disrepair and you want a simple solution for your sale. We've been in business for over 88 years and we've helped thousands of people sell their house in as-is condition with no middleman involved. Reach out today at claymangroup.com, KLAMEN group.com, and receive an offer today.
For everything St. Louis Cardinals, it's Cardinals Conversations. Use the Odyssey app or hear it on your favorite podcast platform. From game analysis, player and management interviews, it's exclusive Cardinals content from KMOX Sports, where the Redbird talk never stops.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt.
I'm Cardinals outfielder Lars Nootbaar.
I'm Wilson Contreras.
Now, Chris and Amy give you the birds.
I'm Adam Wainwright, and you're listening to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Here's a ball lined, and it is caught by India, and India ends the ball game. The night he had at the plate, he took a hit away from Mason Wynn, leaping, timing that perfectly, and this ball game is over.
Yo, Paulie! Paulie's a great name. Yo, Paulie! What'd you do for Paulie? Anything? Me, Paulie! I was responsible!
Paulie, we're here because of you.
Cardinals swept in Cincinnati, 9-2, the final yesterday. So they have put themselves in a much more difficult position moving forward as they try to get a playoff spot. It's good to have you with us, and this Cardinals report is brought to you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Family-owned and top-rated RennerDoorSTL.com. Matthew Pauly. Well, that's not what you were looking for in Cincinnati.
No, it was not, unfortunately. Three somewhat one-sided games. There was one 4-1 game in there. I don't know if you wanted to find that as one-sided or not, but then I scored one run. To be out-homered 10-1 over a 3-game series, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, and the Cardinals, that's for their offense at large this year, that has been a major problem, is hitting for power. They haven't really done it. And we know that I think baseball has tried to make this push to really liven up the game, have a lot of action on the base paths, make it not so home run, strikeout, or walk, or you know what I mean? Like they want it to be a little bit more diverse, but the way to win still is with power, and they are one of the 7 worst teams in baseball in terms of hitting home runs.
Yeah, Oliver Marmol was very blunt about it, saying they got swept in the series because they got outslugged. They had 10 hits yesterday. 10 hits is a fine number of hits from a kind of a raw perspective, but while they had a couple doubles, but while the Cardinals were collecting single after single after single for their 10 hits yesterday, the Reds were hitting home runs and the Reds were hitting doubles. And Oliver Marmol in the post-game press conference yesterday was very blunt and very clear and said, we got swept in this series because we got outslugged. And that there was a game the other day where the Cardinals had of their hits, more than half of them were doubles and home runs, and they scored a bunch of runs. And you don't string together singles to go score a bunch of runs in baseball anymore. If you want to, and that somebody's going to hear me say that, and they're going to find a box score to prove me wrong. But generally speaking, that is not the way baseball games are won anymore. Baseball games are won by hitting doubles and hitting home runs.
Yeah, you mentioned losing because the Cardinals got outslugged. The 5 home runs against them yesterday. I know technically in the standings, a loss is a loss, but there are losses, and then there's what I would call like a tacky loss. Like it just felt kind of tacky,
loss.
Like adding insult to injury. That's frustrating because it's not like, oh man, we were in it, we were fighting, things didn't just go our way. It's a bad loss at a time when you're running out of time to turn the ship around.
Yeah, this is, to me, the way I felt after last night's game is very similar to how I was feeling on May 11th, where it's like, man, this thing's just going to be done here pretty soon if they don't do something to really turn it around. Now, they really turned it around after May 11th. They went on that run starting on May 12th. But if we go back in time, if we go listen to my post-game show from May 11th or around that time, we were talking about, are there going to be changes coming? Is there going to be coaching changes or managerial changes? Are there going to be roster changes? It's harder to do those type of things on August 13th where we're sitting right now. But I don't think I am being melodramatic and I'm making things bigger than they are when I sit here and say that after getting swept in a 3-game series by the Reds and in the position that they're in right now in terms of what they still need to do to possibly make the postseason, that it feels really bad.
Yeah, I don't know how proactive they will be just because of what we're talking about here with, you had the manager on the hot seat before the season started. People have been talking about the president of baseball operations as well. It hasn't really been the Cardinals' style to be too aggressive in making changes mid-season. And with there being just a month and a half left, is there any real opportunity they do something drastic here?
I guess it depends on what your definition of drastic is. I do
a firing.
Not of Oliver Marmol, and that it doesn't do anything. And I have this argument every single night on the post-game show. It's the most annoying thing in the world. I want to talk about new stuff, and every night it's nothing but text message and callers saying fire Oliver Marmol. And like he's not the problem. There's a lot of things going on in this organization that have led to where they've been in the last couple of years. And Oliver Marmol's not they've done the fire the manager thing before. They've had a good number of managers since Tony La Russa. So it's not a managerial thing. There's other stuff going on. Now, could they make a coaching change on the staff just to shake things up? Yeah, sure. I guess they could. And maybe those type of discussions are being had today on an off day. Do they bring guys? Is Thomas Sajaci and Lucan Baker and guys like that all of a sudden on the Cardinals tomorrow because they're going to shake up the roster? That doesn't seem likely, but it doesn't seem completely out of the realm of possibility either.
Yeah, so I do have one issue as it pertains to Marmol, and maybe it's a greater organizational philosophy thing where this is how they want him to do it. But Jordan Walker, though he wouldn't have changed the game yesterday dramatically, look, if you're losing 9-2, Jordan Walker very likely is not going to account for 7 runs himself. But if he's going to be here, I heard Marmol's reasoning behind not having him play every day, that they need these wins and they have to, they need to play matchups. But he's been good against right-handed hitters, and or better than what they've already gotten, and they haven't gotten any real production from their outfield. So why not just play this guy every day? And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, because they're already not getting production from the outfield.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me on what they're doing with Walker. I have to believe that some of that decision is above his head. Although there were quotes previously from John Mozeliak that basically said if Walker's here, he's going to have to play every day. And now all of a sudden, that's not happening. So where is that decision coming from? I don't know for sure. If that's the role you're trying to fill, a guy who can hit left-handed hitting a little bit better, and you want him to be a platoon guy, then I would have gone with Lucan Baker, because he's hit 80 plus home runs in the last 2 years and just absolutely rakes against lefties. And it feels like he is more built to be that platoon guy. If I've got Jordan Walker on the roster, and this is still a young guy who's going to be a huge part of the team moving forward, and who also last year showed in the second half of the season that he does have the ability to be an everyday guy. And now he didn't show that at the beginning of this year, but for a few months in the second half of the season, he was fantastic last year. So I don't totally know where that decision is coming from. I tend to agree with you, Ranj. If Jordan Walker is going to be here, I would just rather him be much more than a platoon guy.
All right, so things have not gone well pretty much across the board. They haven't been pitching particularly well from the starting spot. Offense obviously hasn't been there lately. What do you think we can count on to kind of carry them through, if anything?
I don't know. That's a great question, and nobody knows the answer to that question. They have to have an out-of-the-blue turnaround, and they did it once this year. And I want to be really clear that just because they did it once doesn't mean I'm saying they are going to do it again. But they did do it once. If they can do it again, there is still plenty of time for them to climb back up into a playoff spot. But right now they're trending in a bad direction where not a whole lot is going right for this team. They're not hitting, they're not scoring runs, they're not pitching well. And for them to have that turnaround, it has to literally be just kind of out of the blue and out of nowhere.
In your opinion, we went over their last 7 games. They've lost 7 of their, they've lost 7 of their last 10. How much better do you think they are than the way they've been playing for about the last week and a half, 2 weeks?
So that's the question about this team. Who's this team? Is this the team that from May 12th for about the next 5 or 6 weeks had one of the best records in the National League? Or is this the team that who they were from the start of the season to May 12th and who they've been really since just before the All-Star break to right now? That's the question that you're basically asking me. I think they're better than what they're playing right now. They're better than the Cincinnati Reds. They just got swept by the Reds. I understand that. They are better than the Cincinnati Reds. This is a team that should be competitive for a playoff spot, as they technically are right now, but also winning games more often. I don't think they're as good as their records said they were during that 5-6 week stretch when they had one of the best records in the National League.
Yeah, this is a really precarious spot they're in, and it's highly disappointing. I wouldn't say it's totally surprising, though. I kind of felt like they were on a high wire a bit when they were playing well. I didn't know how long they were going to sustain it. I think it's possible in this league with everybody kind of even, with the exception of maybe the Dodgers and the Braves and the Padres, I think are really, really good. But everybody else, they're comparable, or they have similar issues, or they have issues enough that put the Cardinals kind of even with them. And now I really just don't know what to think for the next 6 weeks. I don't know if they can turn this around. I mean, I guess they can. I just don't know if they will, Matt.
I don't know either. I feel like I'm not giving you answers, but
No.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you something that I don't believe.
I don't think anybody has any.
Yeah.
And if they did, they would be doing something about it. Let me give you a general baseball question, because there was this report this morning from Jesse Rogers with ESPN that Major League Baseball for next year, and this is after they have implemented the pitch clock and, the shifting rules and all of this new stuff, some pretty dramatic stuff. They are looking at the possibility of forcing starters to pitch 6 innings. What do you think of that idea?
I think it's dumb. You can't do that. When I like the idea of pitchers going deeper into games, but you can't sit there and say you're not allowed to go to your bullpen until the 6th inning. You're going to risk injury. If a guy throws 35 pitches in the first inning, he's not going 6 that day. If the guy throws 50 pitches in 1 inning, he may not pitch again that year if you don't get him out of there.
To that end, here are the caveats. It would be 6 innings, or if he throws at least 100 pitches, or if he gives up 4 or more earned runs, or if he gets injured, which would have to be followed by an IL stint. Those are the 3 things that get you out of it.
I don't like it. I still don't. Now, a rule that they messed around with in independent league baseball that Major League Baseball was trying was where the DH was connected to the starter, and you would get to have your DH in the game as long as the starting pitcher was in the game. But then once the pitcher came out, you lost your DH, and essentially pitchers were hitting for themselves. So what you're doing at that point is you're creating National League rules after the starting pitcher is done. I love the idea of National League strategy coming back, because I think I just love that style of baseball. I don't love that rule for a lot of reasons, but I'll tell you what, Ron, that rule is a whole lot better than requiring a starting pitcher to have to go 6.
I don't know how I feel about this one yet. I am 100% on board with the pitch clock, with the shift, with all of that other stuff. I'm totally on board with it. I don't know how I feel about this one yet. I feel like I still need to think about it, but
there's no way the Players Association is going to let this one go. And I know that Major League Baseball can do some things unilaterally with rule changes and so forth, but I promise you, the Players Association, they're not going for this.
You've got Sports Open line tonight, 6
to 8. Yep.
Okay. Enjoy it, buddy. We'll be listening.
All righty. Sounds good.
Right here on KMOX and the Odyssey app, it is Sports Open Line with Matt Pauley from 6 until 8 o'clock.
Yo, Paulie, your sister's with me. I'll call you back later. See ya.
Cardinals won't play again until tomorrow when they've got the Dodgers in town. 6:20 pregame show and a 7:15 first pitch, baby. And it is time for you to get your eyes checked, so you can go to that game and watch it. I don't know why you're laughing. You have to have your eyesight in order if you want to fully enjoy a baseball game, Amy. And the only thing you can do is visit our friends at Ophthalmology Associates. They are on Manchester Road, just west of 270. They're great. I've been there. I've gotten my eyes examined there. And if you've got health insurance, there's a great likelihood that your annual eye exam will be covered by your health insurance, at least a little bit. We're talking about the doctors here of Ophthalmology Associates. Over 200 doctors in the area. Scratch that. 250 doctors in the area go to Ophthalmology Associates to have their eyes examined. So whatever your issue might be, maybe you're thinking about LASIK surgery. Guess what? They'll do that. They'll let you know if you're a candidate for it. They will take care of the procedure, and you'll be happy with the results. Visit with one of the great doctors like Ranjan Malhotra, Greg Birdie, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, or Samuel Berry. They're all great. They're all experts. They all know what they're doing. 314-966-5000. That's 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
How could they make things even better at Genesis of St. Charles? How about 0% financing through the end of August? That's right, 0% financing on fantastic, unbelievable Genesis vehicles, sedans, SUVs, several fully electric models as well. All you need to do is head to Genesis of St. Charles, walk into their beautiful state-of-the-art facility, and get behind the wheel of a Genesis and drive off today. A quarter-mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive off 70 or online at genesisofstcharles.com.
Missouri is crafting its master plan on aging, and we want to hear from you. Visit health.mo.gov/aging to help shape the future for Missouri. Your voice counts. Sponsored by the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services.
Supporting your nutrition should be easy. That's why we created the Neovitin Women's Multivitamin monthly subscription. Get your daily Neovitin Women's Multivitamin delivered directly to your door every month. You can pause or cancel your subscription at any time with no long-term obligations. With B vitamins to support energy, vitamin D for bone support, and our physician-formulated proprietary blend, Neovitin Women's Multivitamin is here to support your nutrition every day. Start supporting your nutrition and sign up for a monthly Neovitin Women's Multivitamin subscription today at neovitin.com.
1-800-GOT-JUNK is your friend with the truck.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
All our people are in uniforms.
And our trucks are clean and shiny.
And big.
We leave spaces empty and clean.
For you.
1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
McKelvey Homes waterfront at Wild Horse Village in Chesterfield is selling fast. With just 3 open home sites and 2 quick move-in homes available, you don't want to miss your chance to live in this unique community. Visit McKelveyHomes.com for more information.
I'm Megan Lynch. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
I think the Cardinals need to change their culture. They need to get rid of Mozeliak. They need to get rid of Marmol and start new, shake things up, because what they've been doing isn't working. It's mediocre at best, and we need a change.
Maybe the Cardinals will make a change, and that's Tim visiting with us on the Odyssey app, the voice messaging feature. Just tap that mic icon, leave us a message, hit send, and you might get to hear yourself right here on KMOX. Cardinals, of course, got swept by the Reds, and people are not happy. They're back below 500, Amy.
Well, that stinks. But what could make you smile is winning a couple of Brew in the Lou tickets.
I think that'd be great. Drown your sorrows, as they say.
Drown your sorrows.
Drown your sorrows.
Brew in the Lou at Francis Park on October 14th. Fall. It doesn't get any better than that. Fall weather,
dude.
Cool weather at Francis Park.
Well, it's St. Louis, so it's probably going to be 106.
But it could be 68.
It might be. Could be.
Could be 68 degrees with crisp leaves on the ground. Anyway, if you want to win a couple of tickets to Brew in the Lou, here's your opportunity, your chance. You need to call the contest line at 314-955-1120 and be the
sixth
caller.
Sixth caller.
To 314-955-1120. Be very, very careful.
Yeah. Actually, we should have made it. We should have made it caller 4.5 for how many games out of a playoff spot the Cardinals are.
Well, that's rude.
Can't. So caller number 6. 314-955-1120. So good luck to you. We will still have another pair of tickets that we can give away tomorrow. And I think that'll be a lot of fun. Hey, so Amy.
Yeah.
By the way, we have Chief Robert Tracy of the St. Louis Police Department coming in at 12 o'clock. He's going to spend some time with us. We're going to have him, I think, all the way till 12:30. So a lot of crime stuff and just progress stuff. We're wanting to know what he's feeling and thinking and what the numbers say. So we're going to talk to Chief Tracy. Also, literacy tests or the standardized test scores in Missouri are showing some progress, we are reading. And we're going to talk to Heather Knight from the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. She will be joining us next hour as well. So I wanted to play for you this. I don't know if you got to hear it, Amy, but this is yesterday at the White House. They had some influencers come in. And again, younger people are watching TikTok, they're watching Instagram. So if you're a politician, you kind of have to start reaching out to where people are, right? They keep saying that, go to where the people are. So they had some influencers there, and this was just a little bit of President Biden speaking to them yesterday.
You all understand that you have an obligation to record what you think is true and say what you think is true. But we've sort of divided into competing camps. Now I know I only look like I'm 40. You can smile. Okay, but I've been around a long time, and it's never been this bad before. I don't mean the press. I mean the way we treat each other in politics, and it's literally getting incredibly difficult to count the number of lies people hear. They don't know what to believe. They don't know what to count on. But you break through. You break through in ways that I think are going to change the entire dynamic of the way in which we communicate. And that's why I invited you to the White House, because I'm looking for a job.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
Okay.
I think that's really funny. And I think the idea of Joe Biden becoming a TikTok influencer is hysterical.
Well, I mean, okay. I'm torn here because he's the president of the United States, and he's old and he's feeble, and it's not just his age, it's just his body, his brain, it's breaking down, right? So it's kind of funny, like, oh, he'll be an influencer, but also terrifying that he is currently our commander in chief. So there's that. It was a pretty witty line at the end of talking to these influencers, but I feel like it would just be if he's your grandpa, it's a funny account. If he's the president of the United States, it's terrifying.
That?
Yes.
That's not terrifying.
I'm terrified.
From that yesterday?
Yeah.
No, that's funny. Stop it. That's funny. Hey, the Fast Eddie's Fastball brought to you by Fast Eddie's Bon Air in Alton, Illinois. And tomorrow, the Cardinals will play. They've got the Dodgers. It is a 6:20 pregame show, 7:15 first pitch. The starters have yet to be decided for the game that will happen at Busch Stadium tomorrow. But you can listen on the Odyssey app and KMOX. Chief Robert Tracy joins us next.
It's the greatest pop rock of the 60s and 70s. The Happy Together Tour 2024 with the Turtles. Jay and the Americans, The Association, Badfinger, The Vogues, and the Cowsills. This Friday night, the Family Arena. Reserve seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.
Get ready for the all-new Athleta Presents Gold Over America Tour. Join Simone Biles and America's best gymnasts for a night of action-packed gymnastics. October 15th at the Family Arena. Fun for the whole family. You and your kids will love this high-energy spectacle. Music, lights, breathtaking flips, and Gold Squad dancers. Let's GOAT! October 15th at the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at goldoveramericaTour.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
We have over $34 trillion in national debt. Where do you think the money to pay for that is going to come from? Taxes. Believe it or not, taxes are at historic lows right now, but how much longer will that last? A Roth IRA conversion might be a good option when planning for your retirement because you can pay lower taxes now and avoid potentially higher taxes later. The FIRA Capital Management Team, formerly Heisey Advisory Group, have seen taxes rise and fall. They know what options you have to potentially reduce the amount of taxes you pay in retirement. Call the team at FIRA Capital Management and schedule your tax analysis today. 314-328-4400. Uncle Sam needs money. Don't let him take it all from you. 314-328-4400. Investing involves risk. Always consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding a Roth conversion, as there may be additional tax considerations. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
At 12 o'clock, we've got clouds. It is 84 degrees downtown at the Arch. This newscast is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Good news on 2 economic fronts this morning. Walmart reported a stronger than expected second quarter. Americans stepped up their spending at retailers last month by the most in a year and a half. The report eased concerns that the economy might be weakening and renews hope for the Federal Reserve to deliver on its economic recovery plan. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
There were some thoughts that the Fed would have to reduce interest rates by 0.5 percentage point because it appeared that some of the economic data were deteriorating. The reports this week, however, show that consumers remain strong, probably because the job market remains solid and price increases are slowing down.
Most of Alton's Gordon Moore Park will reopen Friday. It's been a month and a half since the giant sinkhole opened up there because of a limestone mine underneath. Robert Bauer with the Illinois State Geological Survey says limestone mines are monitored by a federal agency while coal mines report to the state.
And there are state inspectors that go around, I believe it's quarterly, and inspect the conditions in the mine. The company inspects their own mines every single shift.
Plus, the region's mines are mapped extensively. You can see those maps at the Illinois State Geological Survey's website. Folks in Festus may be wondering what's happening this morning.
We don't want to have anybody get concerned if they see a large presence of emergency vehicles at St. Pius High School today in Festus. We're doing a large-scale training exercise based around an active shooter situation.
Grant Bissell with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department says it includes a number of police, fire, EMS, and dispatch partners. School is not in session yet, so no students are there. CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula reports on new developments in the investigation into the overdose death of actor Matthew Perry.
There's word at least one person has been arrested in connection with the ketamine overdose death last year of Friends actor Matthew Perry. Some reports say several people face charges, including at least one doctor. The 54-year-old was found unresponsive in the swimming pool at his Southern California home last October.
The KMOX Business Desk. This could be legal in Missouri soon.
Here's an investment idea you will not hear from your financial planner because it's a bad idea. New research finds that online sports betting is becoming so popular so quickly, turning into a multi-billion-dollar business, that Americans appear to be yanking money out of their stock brokerage accounts to fund their online betting. Study authors at Brigham Young say the trend is most acute among the nation's already most financially strained households. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel up 466 points to 40,474. We've got a stalled vehicle 44 going eastbound at 270. It's on the right shoulder. Also a disabled car 364 going east at 94. That's on the right shoulder as well.
This afternoon will be very warm but humid with clouds and some sun and a high nearing 90. Look for a couple of thunderstorms this afternoon into tonight, any of which could be strong to severe, producing flooding downpours, hail, and damaging wind gusts, perhaps an isolated tornado. Lingering clouds and muggy late tonight, though 75. I'm AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by DesignAirService.com, St. Louis's leading air conditioner and repair service. We've got clouds. It's currently 84 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Hey, Charlie Brennan here. With St. Louis's summer heat, it's nice to have an HVAC company you can completely rely on. I recommend you call the best. Design Air, 314-739-1600, designairservice.com.
The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Get paid to save with Empower Checking, a new high-yield checking account. Visit togethercu.org/empower.
Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji on KMOX, hour 3 of the show. And we are constantly getting new numbers from the city and also nationally as it pertains to crime around the country. And I think many of us here are mostly concerned about what happens in the city of St. Louis and the surrounding area. To talk about those numbers with us and where we are now as a region, St. Louis Metropolitan Police Chief Robert Tracy is in studio with us on KMOX. We appreciate you coming in, Chief Tracy.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about where we are right now, because the numbers, if you look nationally, all the reporting is that the violent crimes are down going back to last year. The city is reporting the same. What exactly are we seeing?
Well, we're seeing crime go down throughout the United States for the first month from January 1st to June 30th of 2024. The Major City Chiefs Association put out a report that actually reflects some of the things that are going out throughout the nation, but each municipality has their ups and downs, and you got to look more granular, and you have to go into the city and take a look at what's happening overall, and it does reflect the numbers. We were up a small percentage in robberies when it came out by June 30th. But as of that time, if the most recent reports that you can pull up on our slmpd.org stats, if you pull that up, you can see we put things out on the website to be as transparent as possible. You can take a look at those reports and you can see we are down in robberies right now. And that was the only one. We were up about 4 robberies, and now we're down 2 to 3% because some patterns and trends. And we arrested some individuals that were recidivists in that and continued to do robberies. And some of them now we got in pocket. And when I say in pocket, they've been arrested, they've been charged, and some have been held right now.
When we look at the numbers and saying crime is down, we're comparing it to the last year, the year before, the year before. How do our crime numbers now, if you're looking at them, compared to pre-pandemic? Because we know that the violent crime, homicides, all of the numbers just spiked astronomically during 2020. And so now we're bringing them back down. But what about compared to a 2013, 2014, 2015?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's the question. Are we down from the pandemic times, 2020 on, when we seen civil unrest? We saw the pandemic. You've seen people separating because of the COVID virus. And, it really interrupted everyone, including courts, police departments. Every industry was absolutely interrupted. And now we're trying to get back to normal. When you take a look at the stats for our first year, first year that I've been here, I started in January 9th of 2023. It was announced on December 14th of 2022. And immediately I looked at a lot of things that this police department was doing. Really talented, dedicated police officers that really want to go out and do the job and serve the city. And they did a tremendous job. And through the CompStat methodology, business management principles applied to police work and community engagement, we saw a shift where we're able to reduce crime by murders by 20%. So if you look at 2020, we were at 263 murders. And then the year after that, 2021, 2022, there was 200. And in 2023, we went down, reported at that time, 158 murders. And everybody asked, well, that's down from the 263 or 262 in 2020. Well, no, that was a 10-year low. So it was down. It was the lowest in 10 years, going back to 2014, which had a lower homicide count. Now, one is one too many. And right now, even 158, that's a number that's still way too high for any city. And we're going to continue to work on that. So I'm proud of these officers, men and women and detectives. and the community coming together to try to reduce the amount of crime, because we got to do this together. And we are down from pre-pandemic levels.
As you can imagine, for people who live here, the perception is that it's awful, and it has been for years. So that maybe when we see these numbers, there is skepticism about where the numbers are coming from, if the numbers are true. If people have that sort of viewpoint, what would you say to them?
Well, you should be skeptical, and you have to sustain this. People look at these numbers, and when you talk about perception, it takes a long time for perception to catch up to reality. So if we can continue to sustain this, continue to talk about some of the successes, report out the things that are happening, being transparent, putting the CompStat report out there. We're going to put crime mapping out there soon. That'll be another thing that we're putting out through our website, which we have updated from a website that was built in 2009. Now it's been revamped, redone, and it's easier to navigate, get the information that you need, and we're putting more and more reports on there so the community can see exactly what's happening, and they can be part of the solution in knowing what's going on. So community meetings, we were not doing them for the last 4 years because we had to separate because of the pandemic. We're getting back to normalization of being able to meet with each other in person, get away from the Zoom meetings. And when you do that, you start to create that partnership, you start to build that trust. And then when the good things are happening, we're all part of it. And that's going to take a little time. It takes some time to come back from it. We also have to remember that, the media drives perception as well. And, we got to start making sure that we're reporting some of the good things that are happening out here in the city, not just the violence. Listen, we're going to report the violence, but our website is also going to help try to drive the narrative of all the good work that's being done with the communities to show things that we're doing in the city that are very positive that we seem to miss out on. And I come from 3 other cities, New York, Chicago, and also Wilmington, Delaware, and I lived in all 3. And I think this city has so much potential, already does, and has so many great things to offer. And we got to start making sure we highlight them and still work on the challenges that we have.
Yeah, I definitely, there's the perception. I'm one of those people, right, who feels like it doesn't feel like crime is down. Why is that, right? And you're looking at the numbers, and I know that there is information behind the numbers as well. So with homicides being down, I have 2 specific questions about that. The first one being, I know justifiable homicides can change that number as far as what counts as a homicide versus justifiable homicide. How does that compare, that number of justifiable homicides now compare to 10 years ago?
Well, justifiable homicides are something that's always been in the equation. So it's not that we change the way we track statistics. We got to go by the FBI UCR standards, and we all do it throughout the United States to have a level playing field. So justifiable homicides have always been in the equation, and those numbers are so small, they're really not going to change the overall number that we're talking about. We have several of them throughout the year. And in each year that I go back, in every jurisdiction I've been in, there has been justifiable homicide. So it depends on the year. It depends on, we do a true investigation. We work the circuit attorney's office. We work with all indicators to make sure that we're tracking the right way. But that number is small overall compared to the amount of homicide. So it's not going to skew the number of whether we're going up or down. And certainly you want to make sure you're accurate. So if it is a justifiable homicide, we're going to call that. If it's not, it's going to be called a murder.
But it could be a difference between like even 3 and 14, which just wouldn't be insignificant, right? Compared to, say, 150 murders, a difference of 10 does make a difference.
But if it's a justifiable homicide, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
If a person comes up and someone's trying to rob them with a firearm and a person protects themselves, if that happens 11 times in the year compared to 3 in the year before, that shouldn't be counted toward the homicide statistics. So, I'm not sure what point you're trying to make with justifiable homicides, because it depending on how many situations happen. How many homicides are happening where they're not justifiable? And that's what we need to be taking a look at. And we're down to a 10-year low, and this year we're trending where we were last year. And hopefully we can start moving and reducing that number further.
Yeah, it was more of just a question of seeing a difference, like a discrepancy. If they have gone up over the years, you would want to look at why any trend is happening.
Well, they go up and they go down. That's not a number that has been steadily going up where you're looking like you're padding the numbers or reducing the amount of overall homicides. That's not the type of work that I do. It's accuracy. Our numbers are audited. And if you don't have your numbers correct, then you lose credibility and you lose legitimacy. So we can stand by every single one of those. And, you also have a circuit attorney that takes a look at them. And if they don't feel it's justifiable, they're going to charge. And so you have checks and balances. So I think that number that goes up and down is not going to factor in how many homicides that you have, because that's a justifiable homicide. And depending on the circumstance, we don't code them justifiables to try to reduce the overall homicide number.
St. Louis Chief of Police Robert Tracy is with us here in studio on KMOX. And regarding the circuit attorney, we have heard in the past that when there was a different situation, some officers were reluctant to even make contacts because of the feeling that whoever they pulled over, whoever they arrested, weren't going to get prosecuted. So what's the point? Was that really a thing? And if it was, has that changed?
Right. And you know what? I call it legal cynicism. And so do other people in the academics and our professional world in policing. When the community feels that people are not being prosecuted or people are not being arrested that are causing the crimes in the community or being released right away, then they lose trust in the whole criminal justice system. We happen to be the front end of the criminal justice system. So therefore, we're the most forward arm of government. And we get the complaints, why aren't you doing anything about it? Well, we arrested that person 5-6 times, but they continue to be released. Therefore, people are not understanding the rest of the criminal justice system. We all have to be working fairly and justly. And when one breaks down, sometimes even the community and sometimes our officers can get demoralized if you continue to make arrests. And when I walked through this door, there was close to 6,000 arrests that were taken under advisement by the circuit attorney's office. Over 6,000 arrests. That means we arrest an individual, and within 24 hours, if we're not going to charge them, they have to be released. And that was happening time and time again. Yes, that can be demoralizing. That has changed. The warrant office is back open. Every case is seen by the circuit attorney office, and every person has a chance to be charged if the probable cause is met. And probable cause is met on the street and then agreed with by the circuit attorney. And if I can add one more thing to that, there's empathy. If you release people, a lot of the individuals that we're arresting for the quality of life crimes and things that they're doing out here and breaking into cars and felony thefts and package thefts, these individuals have addiction issues and mental health issues. And if you can get them into the system, because you're not ruining their record to get a job somewhere, these people are recidivists. And they have these type of issues. And when we get them into the systems, we can have court ordered, or we can plead down cases to make sure that they can get the help that they need, court ordered, so we can release them on conditions that they get the treatment that they need. I call that empathy and addressing the issue after they're in the system. And that works great in his diversion. And I know the circuit attorney, Gabe Gore, and his team are bringing back the diversion, where that is a way so people don't go out and reoffend. And we don't want to keep arresting the same person over. But when an officer has to do that, sometimes it gets demoralizing, but they're professionals. And these officers are going to continue to make the arrests that they need to make sure we took a sworn oath to go out and do our job. And I'm very proud of the officers met with those kind of conditions that to continue to go out and do the job that needs to be done.
Chief Robert Tracy in studio with us. We've got another segment with you. We appreciate you sticking around. We will come back with more of Chief Tracy on KMOX.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9-MILLION.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Let's face it,
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming and stressful, and things like record inflation, rising interest rates, the threat of a recession, and the possibility of Social Security disappearing all feel like roadblocks to reaching that retirement finish line. All of these issues can have a major impact on your life savings. So the question is, what are you doing about it? Join the All Financial Group August 22nd and the 27th at Cooper's Hawk for a presentation providing you with the tools, insight, and proven strategies that can help you overcome these retirement roadblocks. Seating is limited and you must qualify to attend. Call 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice.
Public service announcement from Bart Inman, air conditioning. School starting 2024. So all the juniors and seniors, or possibly even the sophomores. But let's just say if you just know school's not for you because it bores you, trade schools is an option for you. A lot of the high schools have it. For your junior and senior year, you can receive credit upon graduation of high school, get a very, very good job in the trades. When I say very good job, you're building America, you're building the school that you're sitting in, you're building the house that you live in. You get great pride in building something every single day. You don't want to go to college, pick a trade school. I'm partial to Ranken Technical, so pass this along. If you're not in the trades, or if you're a parent or your grandparent, speak with your child or your grandchild. Remember, boys or girls, the trades are available, and you're not putting your kids in debt for a useless piece of paper. God bless.
If you're listening to this Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance ad, there's a good chance that you're alive. And if you're not, well, this may not be of interest to you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Life insurance, I'm going to live forever. Death is what happens to other people. Well, for the sake of argument, let's assume you're wrong, and that someday you won't be listening to the radio anymore. I know it's not easy to talk about, so I'll do the talking. If you're 50 plus and alive, or 50 to 75 in New York, you can apply for Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance with guaranteed acceptance regardless of your health. And since this life insurance is guaranteed, you don't have to get a medical exam. In fact, you don't even have to fill out a health questionnaire. For a free quote, visit GerberLifeFamily.com. Then when you stop, if you stop listening to the radio, your family can use the insurance money to help cover your final expenses or anything else. Your kids already inherited your ears, allergies, and questionable singing voice. Don't make them inherit your final expense tab too. Visit GerberLifeFamily.com. See website for terms and restrictions.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com. Broadcasting from the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. No fights, just insights. Talking politics with respect for all. KMOX, your connection to St. Louis and the region.
We are here with St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy talking about the recent crime report numbers. And I had one more quick question about the numbers and understanding them. Obviously, there's the homicide numbers, but we also know shootings are happening and the victim doesn't, always die. Sometimes they're injured. What are the shooting numbers in the city of St. Louis right now?
Well,
and how are those reported?
Well, if you go to the CompStat report, one of the things that when you look at a NIBRS report or the way things are carried throughout the United States, police departments that are doing the CompStat methodology, what I've learned in 1994 on. So I've been doing this a lot of years, and I've been running CompStat for the last 13 years, going all the way back to Chicago. It's called non-fatal shootings. First, you have incidents. That means an incident where someone got shot, and then also how many victims. So you can have multiple victims at a shooting incident. When you track that, everybody's just tracking aggravated assaults, and they might say with a firearm. Well, we extrapolate that information that UCR doesn't track and or NIBRS didn't track properly. So CompStat, we extrapolated so you can see the amount of victims that have been shot and how many incidents we have. And when you have a city where over 90% of our homicides are by gunshot, and you have the type amount of guns that are in the city, in the state of Missouri, and it's not prohibited for juveniles to carry firearms, which is something that's new to me coming from 3 other states. And certainly that is a problem. So you got to track the amount of shootings that are happening. You got to use the technology when it comes to NIBIN, National Integration of Ballistic Information Network. You got to collect the shell casings, even on places where we have non-fatal shootings. And we track to try to interrupt the trigger puller because there's evidence left on the scene that we can track and correlate to other incidents that we can start zeroing down who are the trigger pullers out there. And there's a small percentage of people committing most of the violent crime in any city. And we want to zero in on them through the evidence we're collecting, even when someone's not shot. And the amount of shots fired incidents are going down in the city, way too many, something we got to continue to work on as it came through the door. And our shooting incidents, when you take a look at, it's right on our website. You can go right up to our slmpd.org/stats. I want people to get out there. I want people to see this. And right now we're looking at, it's basically almost flat. It's up 3% on shooting incidents, but we're actually, we're even when it comes to shooting victims, but we're down from years past. So you got to remember the first year we put CompStat in, we had a precipitous drop in a lot of things. Now it's diminishing returns, but we got to continue to try to drive this. And through the methodologies we have in place, patterns and trends, and this department is learning this system, and they're out there doing a heck of a job. And when you talk about being down a couple hundred police officers, where we're going to build ourselves back up to budget strength, and I hope I can get into what our recruitment and retention plan is. These things are some of the things that we have to make sure we keep a good eye on, we take very seriously. And when it comes to firearms or using them illegally, we want to make sure that we look at every case and make sure we're charging on those cases and make sure that those individuals are out there to cause harm in the community. We're going to make sure that we put the best case possible so that they go back out and cause more violence.
We did want to ask you about how many fully commissioned officers you have, how many you're short, what the recruitment is like. What is the situation with the amount of police in St. Louis?
So I walked through the door, the budgeted strength. We've been losing every police department in the United States. It's very rare. The number one incident, you talk about the major city chiefs. These are the top 58 police departments, largest police departments in the United States. And you have 18,000 police departments smaller than the major city chiefs, and 18,000 police departments in the United States. That is the number one issue that we deal with at our conferences is recruitment and retention, because this is a crisis throughout the United States. It's just not a St. Louis issue. You can go next door, you can go to the county, you can go to all the municipalities, you can even go further out in the state. And we're all competing against the same pool, and the amount of people coming into the profession has really slowed down after 2020. And what we have to do is we're going back to normalcy. So the numbers that we have was 1224 as our budgeted strength. The mayor has not reduced it and has not reduced it again this year. I want to keep that number because that's a target goal to try to get back up to. And when I came in, it was a little less than 1,000. And I believe we're at 894. That number's dynamic. I'm swearing people in. Some people might have retired today. So it's around 894 the last time I looked the other day. And 14 of them in the academy ready to graduate. So that would take us down to 880. And what you have to do is leverage the technology, make sure we're doing everything we can do, make things more efficient in a police department to continue to protect this city and do calls for service. Calls for service is the number one thing that we have to do to make sure that we can answer these calls in 911 properly. And then we prioritize it. And one of the things that was happening last year when we came in was we were down dispatches and we were down call takers considerably. We've actually got that close to budgeted strength. That helps on the front end, then helps our officers do our job. And then we're taking calls out of the queue if they're non-emergency calls, and we're working with crisis response units to make sure those mental health calls can be taken off the queue, and we have people trained in how to deal with that. So everything matters. If I can get into, you might have another question, but I can get into what we're doing about recruitment and retention.
Well, that's what we're going to go to next.
So if you saw just as of late, you're seeing billboards that are out there. We were able to get money from the Police Foundation to help sponsor these things and make sure that we can get the word out. I think the biggest change that has helped us is that last year, Mayor Tashura Jones, she recognized that we needed to be competitive in policing. And being competitive is that we were being paid almost $10,000 to $12,000 less than our counterparts in the area. And so we train our officers and then we lose them to other jurisdictions because of economics. We've given them a raise. We're competitive. And in each year, you still got to balance that. And we have an economic reopener this year. We're sitting down with the St. Louis Police Officers Association, where we're looking at to see where we can bring in new raises to make sure we can stay competitive. And at the same time, last year, we did talk about things where Their officers were worried when they arrest people because of certain things that were happening in the rest of the criminal justice system. They were not going to warrant officers. They weren't being charged. We were arresting the same people over and over again. There was a thing called the list. The officers were put on a list that wasn't a Brady list, and it was very subjective of the information. It was no due process. Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore and I sat down. We looked at it. It's not something, a due process that we've seen, and we've back to way it should be with called the Brady list. It take a little time to go through it, look that up, but that limits the amount, and it's needed. It happens in every police department, and there's other things where we had things use of force where there was things that need to be signed off on. If there's a use of force incident where officers involved in it, if it's found justifiable by a use of force, then it should be signed off in a timely manner. In every jurisdiction I ever worked in, it's signed off on. It's signed off by us, and then has to have a final sign off. That wasn't being done. And there was things out there for 4 or 5 years where officers had something, hey, when is this final sign off going to happen? We signed off on it, but certain other entities in the criminal justice system didn't. Those things are all being taken care of because it's fairness. It's not it's a sense of fairness that these officers now feel coming back in. They also have, for the first time in a long time, we've had an interim chief. Before that, Hayden was the chief for a short time. I think we had an interim chief before that. And then there was a search that went on for a year and a half. So there's some stability in the leadership, whether you like my strategies or not, and my style. Everybody wants to know who their boss is, who is the boss. And one of the things that was asked, is the chief really in charge of the police department to affect the type of change? Well, one of the things coming in, I came in here and I've been a chief before. I'm doing this out of want, not out of need. And I thought there was an area that when they had asked me, would I throw my hat in the ring? I did. But the things that I needed back, as if we're going to affect real change, I have to be able to run the police department, hold me accountable. I'll answer to the mayor and her administration, hold me accountable, but let me do the job if we're ever going to have a chance to make sure we can have effective change, to make sure we can put the city in the right direction, especially from a policing end. So those are the type of things that officers need to see. And then the recruitment was the things that went out, and we created a recruitment team in the police academy under Clarence Hines is our director in the police academy. And after this campaign, we just had 125 applicants that came in. This doesn't mean they're going to be police officers. We have to vet them all. And then I believe another 35 to 40 came in after we made that announcement a few weeks ago. So we're starting to get more people in the pipeline, and I'm hoping in September I start a class of 30. So this is all depending, these are all, I'm making sure I'm very careful when I say the word 30, that's what I'm looking at, approximately 30. It can go down, it can go up, but we're trying to get as many people in the academy. And we changed the business model where we're not waiting every 6 months. As soon as I get that list, we're making sure we put people in, and we vet them, we get them in an academy class. And the business model, working with the Department of Personnel, we have to make sure we call these police officers immediately, or applicants, where sometimes we waited in the past and we lost them to other jurisdictions. We capture them right away. We've built up our HR resources and our hiring manager. So when they call, they apply, we call them right away. We get them in as fast as possible, get them in the process, because we'll lose them to other jurisdictions because they're applying to a lot more. And once we get them in our system to see what we can offer and the size of our police department and all the other units they can work in, work their way up to, we can offer a lot more to these officers that other jurisdictions can't.
Chief Tracy, we really do appreciate you coming in and talking with us for so long. And we've got so much that we could get to with you, and hope to do it again soon.
Well,
so thank you.
I'd love to do this again because if you can get the word out and we could talk about these things, we have a long way to go. So this is not acknowledging that we still have challenges, but I can see that there's a lot of things on the horizon working together that we can help turn around some of these things. And certainly with perception, we do have the challenges of crime, but we're moving in a positive direction.
St. Louis Metropolitan Police Chief Robert Tracy, thank you again.
Thank you.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
At 12:32 right now, we've got some clouds. It's 85 downtown at the Arch. No need to panic if you see a bunch of emergency vehicles around St. Pius High School in Festus. Grant Bissell with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department says it's just training to prepare for the unfortunate evil of school shootings.
And we need the people who are fighting on the side of good to be prepared to handle and stop that evil. And really, that's what today is all about. That's why we wanted to bring in all of our partners who would be potentially responding to something like this. Most realistic we can make it, get all those moving parts together so that we can be on the same page and prepared in Jefferson County should the worst case happen.
No students are present this morning, and things should be wrapping up just about now.
The Cardinals get swept by the Cincinnati Reds, losing yesterday 9-2. With the loss, the Cardinals dropped to 60-61. They're below 500 for the first time since late June. Kyle Gibson makes the start, takes the loss, goes 4 2/3 innings, allowing 7 runs on 7 hits. The Cardinals allow 5 home runs in the game. Today is a much-needed off day for the Cardinals. They get back at tomorrow night as they are set to match up against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Game time 7:15. Our coverage will begin tomorrow at 6:20. With the Redbird Report, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
On the roads, we've got some debris. 141 going north at Merrimack. That's got the left lane closed. 2 lanes are open there. Some road work on 270 going eastbound at 367. They have cleared a stalled vehicle that was on 364 going eastbound at 94. And a stall 44 east at 270 on the right shoulder. Weather is sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. Clouds, some sun, warm, humid today. A couple of thunderstorms into tonight. Could be strong to severe, producing flooding downpours, hail, damaging wind gusts, and an isolated tornado. High this afternoon reaching about 90. For tonight, some clouds, warm, humid. Low tonight, 75. For tomorrow, mix of clouds and sun, hot, humid with a high temperature of 93. Right now around the region, some clouds. It's 83 in Florissant, 84 St. Peters, 85 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers and important decisions should not be based solely on advertising.
This is Megan Lynch from the KMOX Newsroom, inviting you to donate blood with the American Red Cross at the KMOX Blood Drives in memory of my colleague, Brett Bloom. Get your blood flowing and be part of a life-saving team this summer. Join us Thursday, August 22nd from 2 to 7 p.m. at several locations near you. Come give blood for a $20 Amazon.com gift card by email. To schedule your appointment, visit redcrossblood.org and use sponsor code KMOX. Thank you.
When you face storms, if you have Rhino Shield, you don't much have to worry about the side of your house. Number one, it's waterproof. So whatever rain hits it is going to just bounce off. You don't have to worry about that. When we had that hail recently, the homes with vinyl siding got crushed. I mean, holes punched in the side of it. And the ones with Rhino Shield, it pretty much just bounced off. And my friend Darren has the pictures to prove that. So you've got a product that's 8 to 10 times thicker than regular paint. It hardens like a ceramic shield. It protects whatever's on the outside of your home. And you get a 25-year warranty. 25 years. You don't have to worry about going outside in the heat and scraping and painting or paying somebody else to do it every 4 or 5 years. You're fixed. You're covered. You get that warranty. You can transfer it to the next owner as well. Call Darren today. Let him give you a free evaluation on this beautiful product on your home. 877-25-RHINO or online at 877-25rhino.com.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy houses direct and as is condition. Did you just inherit a house and you're not sure what to do with it? Maybe it's got a lot of stuff in there and you're really not sure what to do with the stuff and how to sell the house. Well, we do a lot of work with people that inherited property. We're very familiar with the probate courts. So if you have a house you just inherited, please reach out today. We'd love to make you an offer and simplify your real estate situation. KLAMEN Group.com.
I'm Kevin Wheeler. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
It is the Chris and Amy show on KMOX, and it is time to go to the Quiver River Electric guest line again. Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education Literacy Coordinator Heather Knight is with us because Missouri's standardized test scores, as we hear it, are showing a little bit of progress, but there's still work to do. So, Heather Knight, we appreciate you being with us today. How are you?
I'm just fine. Thank you for having me.
So tell us what exactly, where is the improvement? What are we seeing and how is it tangible?
Well, so what I'd like to just talk about briefly is our literacy with two different areas that we assess. So first, the foundational reading assessments, which were first implemented statewide in 2023, in the 23-24 school year. These are baseline assessments that we are in the final stages of analyzing this first year of data. Now, you're referring to, I believe, maybe the MAP test scores, which refer to the English language arts exams when we're talking about literacy. And this exam tests students' mastery of concepts more than just literacy or reading skills. But we have definitely made an effort to have a priority on literacy, mostly since some of the data that's coming out of post-COVID assessments and reading skills are showing just a significant loss in learning. And so that's what we've been focused on very, very highly over the last couple of years.
Right. And this is looking at the entire state of Missouri, correct? When it says 56% of students scored in the basic or below basic range on these MAP tests. And I know in the city of St. Louis, this hits us especially hard, that literacy levels, 23% of students in St. Louis City are reading at grade level. And for African-American students in the city of St. Louis, that number drops to 13%. So while statewide it's 56, in certain areas we're seeing, I would say, crisis levels of literacy rates.
Yes, we are. And, you know, I think that one of the most important things that we at DESE have been focused on are those foundational reading skills, and what can we do to ensure that as our children are coming into kindergarten, moving through those early grade levels where that early literacy development is critical, that we are implementing multiple strategies. We're implementing various opportunities to engage with teachers and schools as well as parents to ensure that our students have every opportunity to get what they need, and then that the teachers are prepared to provide that instruction.
Just from a bigger picture question about standardized test scores, how well do they actually measure how well students are performing? I think that there's always been a question about whether or not they do a good job of that. Some people say they don't. A lot of people do. What can you tell us about that, and what kind of information they actually provide?
Well, I think that we need to understand that statewide assessments provide us information on a given day for students, you know, in a given year. And one of the things that we work towards is ensuring that students have the skills to be able to be successful in types of scenarios or questions that are on a state assessment, such as the MAP. Now, differently, I would say that our foundational reading assessments are a little different in that there are multiple opportunities for assessment. So our new K-3 foundational reading assessments that were implemented, as I mentioned, in the 23-24 school year, that is given at the beginning of the year and end of year. And for any student that is identified with at risk for meeting those skills, there are specific progress monitoring opportunities. So when a student is identified as needing intervention and they're not meeting those proficiency levels, then an intervention plan, which is called a reading success plan, is developed. And so those students will be monitored multiple times throughout the year to ensure that they are progressing, and that if they are progressing, then what's the next step? What's the next goal that we need to set for them to help them be proficient?
And I know you said working with teachers to help increase literacy rates. Is part of DESE's plan, does that involve maybe equipping parents or volunteers to read with students?
Yes, actually, one of, I think, the amazing things that came out of the legislation that was passed in 2022 is the evidence-based reading instruction program. And so with that program, we were able to provide the legislature provided $25 million that we were able to focus in areas of evidence-based reading instruction. And so one of those areas was for teacher training. And so we're providing reimbursements to LEAs for evidence-based reading instruction training through LETRS, which is called Language Essentials for Teachers of Reading and Spelling. And so that is a statewide literacy training that we currently have over 12,000 teachers either completing that training or engaged in that training. Another focus area is around parent and family resources. So providing opportunities for family literacy nights, providing resources that can be sent home and for home reading, those types of things. Just providing the ability and resources for that reading time and reading practice to go well beyond the classroom.
So do you have and I don't know how you quantify it, but a goal that you have in mind and how close you are to reaching it?
A goal for literacy rates or
literacy
training?
in terms of improvement in literacy rates and yes.
Well, of course, our goal is that all students in Missouri will be successful and proficient. We also know that when students struggle and they're behind, and also thinking about at what critical level are they, it takes time to move students forward. So currently, any student that is 1 year or more behind in their reading development or level of reading in that K through 5 grade level, the requirement is to set those goals according to the assessments that are given and the next steps of learning. So, for example, if you have a second grade student who may have deficiencies in phonemic awareness and phonics and fluency, we have to go back and work on that initial skill. So we're going to work on phonemic awareness and get that skill developed because those skills build on each other. So there's sometimes, a time around being able to get that student where they need to be before they can then build. So with that said, I think just the attention to identifying those students who are deficient in some skills and then providing that intervention as early as possible and then moving those students forward as quickly as possible.
Heather Knight, Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education Literacy Coordinator. We appreciate your time. Thank you for talking with us today and giving us the information on this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. Still a bit to go here on the show before we get to Dave Glover. That is coming up at 1 o'clock. It is the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Okay, let's see. Imagine you're in your home and your windows and doors are literally not working. The windows are drafty and leaking. Yep, I've had that before. Or your patio door is sticking as you strain to open it. Well, if you're looking for a replacement, quality and craftsmanship should be at the very top of your list. And lucky for you, Renewal by Andersen offers both. Yep, you know the name, Andersen. Now, these are not cheap, low-grade vinyl windows. Their Acclaim windows are durable, energy efficient, and low maintenance. And their patio doors won't just open easily for years to come. They will, but they'll also provide optimal security too. These are the workhorses of windows and doors. And right now, through August 31st, during Renewal by Andersen's 1 month only sale, you can save $329 on every window and $729 on every patio door with 0% interest for 3 years. Call 314-720-9200, 314-720-9200. 314-720-9200.
Hey folks, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house on the walls, patios, walkways, porch, or chimneys? If so, this might be a great time to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. What's tuck pointing? It's the removal of old mortar and the replacement of new mortar on a wall or chimney. Sometimes that mortar can become loose, missing, or deeply eroded. We've used the Morelli team to tuck point the Brennan home several times, and in fact, this winter, we noticed the bricks that line the ground near our porch in the backyard had gotten out of line and looked pretty cattywampus. One call, Morelli tuck pointing, the job was done. Morelli's the company that's won the Angie's List Super Service Award every year, back to back to back since 2005. Check out their reviews on the Google, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau websites. The Masonry Specialists, 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Summertime is the best time to enjoy the outdoors and enhance the appearance of your home. Banner Construction can make your home the showplace of the neighborhood with maintenance-free James Hardy siding and beautiful Pella replacement windows. Drive up to your home with a renewed pride. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050. Get a free in-home design and estimate. Call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day. 314-569-1050.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The pitch. Do you dream about calling Cardinals games? Goldschmidt swings and he hits. If so, the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum is for you. Learn about play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and working with pro athletes for the best broadcasters in the business. John Rooney, Chip Carey, Rick Horton, Brad Thompson, and more. The Sportscasters Forum is Thursday, September 19th at Live by Lowe's. Tickets include 3 educational sessions, lunch, and a ticket to that evening's Cardinals game. For details, go to MissouriBroadcasters.org.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, and now is the time to do something about it. With Neoviten Women's Multivitamin, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Created by a St. Louis physician, Neoviten Women's Multivitamin is formulated with our proprietary blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Best of all, you can get Neoviten Women's Multivitamin delivered right to your door with our convenient monthly subscription. Go to neoviten.com and sign up for a subscription today.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Refresh, restore, and protect your employees and customers by calling Zero Res to clean your business the right way so that your floors and surfaces stay cleaner longer without the harmful chemicals that the other guys use. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
St. Louis, Walk to End Lupus now. The 2024 Walk to End Lupus takes place September 7th at Creve Coeur Lake Memorial Park under the Trayman Pavilion. Join us in person to Walk to End Lupus now. For more information, visit the website at lupus.org/heartland.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
I'm Andrew Stoles, and this is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
The team has completely lost their fundamental way. They are no longer the Cardinal way team of past years.
That's Brian using the voice messaging app or voice messaging feature on the Odyssey app, which you should download, AUDACY. People, they want to see better from our St. Louis Cardinals, who have been, it's rough over the last couple of weeks now. They were in a playoff position They're in striking distance, but they are not playing well. They just got swept by Cincinnati.
It's a big 6 games coming up. 3 against the Dodgers at home, and
Off
then
night
you
tonight.
host the Brewers.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can turn things around. Hey, we spoke earlier in the hour with St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy, and there's a new website. They did redo the website for the St. Louis Police Department. So go to slmpd.org/stats. slmpd.org/stats. You can look at some of the numbers. They did, the point of the website, why they overhauled it, is they wanted to provide transparency in the numbers. You can also break it down neighborhood by neighborhood and look at the crime statistics there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also they are still in the process of recruiting new officers. He mentioned that he's got 30 prospects right now.
Mhm.
I imagine that number changes consistently. You got to vet people. They got to be trained.
And one number that was significant, we ran out of time again. We hope to have him on soon. Could have talked to him longer. He just, I guess, swore in 22 officers who have returned.
That
who left
is
the
a
St.
big
Louis
deal, I
City
think.
Police Department to go
Yes.
somewhere else, and they have come back. That's a positive number.
That's even if it was like 5 or 10, I think that's a good sign, because if you've got people who have said, all right, I can't deal with that place, I'm out, and they feel confident enough to come back to it, that means they feel like things are moving in a good direction. Because if you have, I mean, I can't speak for all of these officers who have come back, but if you're demoralized, if I'm demoralized working at any place, and I don't do anything as serious as what police officers do, if I felt demoralized at a place, it would take me a lot to want to go back there.
I'm
if I left.
demoralized every day working with you.
You could do so much worse, and you have. So you're lucky you get me. Oh, yeah. In your life?
Whatever.
In your life?
Oh, my gosh.
I've seen some of the people you worked with at Fleet Feet. Those people are awful. The worst.
The worst. What are you talking about? I love Fleet Feet.
Hey, next week.
Lifelong friends.
Oh, real quick. Congratulations, Joe in Riverview, who's going to the Brew in the Lou, October 12th at Francis Park. We will have another pair of tickets to give away tomorrow. And then next week, Doobie Brothers and Steve Winwood all week long. You don't have to. You don't have to.
But I want to.
You don't have to. There's no need. So that's it for us. Thanks to all of our guests, Major Garrett, Robert Tracy, Heather Knight, and Matt Pauley. We are going to be back with you tomorrow at 10 o'clock on the Odyssey app and 1120 AM, 98.7 FM. Thanks to Matt Pajeski and James O'Sullivan. The David Glover Show is coming up next with us on KMOX. So the two apparently at a thing called the Governor's Ham Breakfast, which this morning,
Governor's Ham
don't
breakfast?
laugh at the Governor's
I love it.
Ham Breakfast.
No,